The sport is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Padres currently in the top of the ninth, up 4-2 on the Pirates, looking to close out that series and get a win. And per sources, Cade Cunningham is expected back tonight, taking on the Bucks. The Pistons are currently the fourth best betting odds in the Eastern Conference to come out of the Eastern Conference. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you're not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
I'm excited about it. It brings a lot of people together.
Now, from the San Diego Sports 760 studios, we go in the zone with Fletch and Sammy.
Let's get it going on a Wednesday. What's happening, everybody? Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. Sammy will keep the party rolling after that, and going along with Sammy, Schaefer and Sliwa will be your drive home later tonight. We will talk plenty of Padres on the show today. We'll probably wait till the game wraps up so we can get some more of you in here to talk some Padres. We're going to start off with actually the Lakers from last night, their game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And just kind of where the season goes from here in the NBA. I think there's some fascinating angles we could take at it, especially with the majority of teams we expect to be big contenders in the postseason finally sort of rounding into form and getting healthy. It's almost like they planned it that way. So we'll get into the NBA a little bit to start. We do have a pair of tickets for you to go to the Lakeside Rodeo coming up later in April. Tell you all about how to win those in just a bit. We also have a packed show with guests coming up at 12:30. I have them on once a year. Mike Abram, he is my golf insider. This dude knows more and about the players and has great relationships with a lot of the players who are going to be playing in Augusta this week. So we'll get his thoughts on everything going on tomorrow in the Masters and today with the par 3 tournament. This is a very, very fun time of year for golf. And then at 1:30, we talked to Juju Ballo earlier this week. Today, his cousin, Jonny Mansour, who's also fighting on that April 18th card at Front Wave Arena up in Oceanside, will be joining the show coming up at 1:30. So another one of these super fast rising stars. He's in a weight class above Juju Ballo, and he's going to be jumping on 6-0 as a pro. Is Jonny Mansour. Excited to get his thoughts.
I'm excited to talk to him because you just mentioned it. He's a little bit heavier than Juju Ballo in that weight division. There's a lot of really big names down the road. Obviously, he's still trying to build up. He's got a pretty big following and kind of get some fights under his belt. But yeah, I mean, pretty soon here we could be seeing some big title fights for Mansour and Ballo. So very excited to talk some boxing later.
Yeah, just in the show. Remember in like 6 or 7 years when these two dudes are world champs, they came on here first.
Exactly.
All right.
We were day ones. All right.
It's investments. It's like putting a little bit of money away for the future. Sammy and I were talking about investments all before the show today.
Yeah, we could have. We were. I think
go business. You need some help.
We could have done an investing show the entire time. Ben and I were breaking down stocks. You know, like, I mean, I didn't really know what I was talking about, but you know, those people that pretend like they know what they're talking about when it comes to stocks.
Sure.
You know, they watched Wolf of Wall Street one time and all of a sudden they're telling you about where to put your money.
Absolutely right. That's basically me and Sammy. But yeah, so when you think about the future for these two guys, I think it's incredibly bright. They were born right here in San Diego, born and raised. Jonny actually fights out of La Mesa, where I live these days. So very cool. We'll chat with him coming up at 1:30. Let's start with the Lakers, though, because it is kind of funny. Now, Sammy's probably not super thrilled with how last night went, but he's kind of checked out on the Lakers season as a fan. But you look at
I'm still locked in. I'm always going to be locked in, but our expectations are tempered.
That's probably where you should be as of right now. So last night they lose by, what, I think 35 points or 36 points.
Yeah.
The week before they lost by 45. Now, the week before, LeBron played, Reeves played, Luka played for 3 quarters. And they got beat by 45. Last night, it was like Luke Kennard, and they only lose by 36. So things are going in the right directions without the superstars of the Lakers. How about that, Sammy?
I can't crush them for last night. I mean, the big three didn't play. Marcus Smart didn't play. Jackson Hayes didn't play. I actually got to give them some credit in that they actually hung with them for a quarter and a half, and the young guys were playing. But for anyone out there, and I've had a lot of arguments with my friends about this, that thinks that college teams can compete with NBA teams. You got a prime example of why that cannot happen because.
Well, yeah, just watch the Washington Wizards all year this year.
And the Lakers roster last night was very thin. It is so disappointing just as a fan. And not that I thought the Lakers had a cap to where they could go. I think when fully healthy, They could have won in the first round. I think because of matchup problems, they actually could have given San Antonio a series. I'm not saying they win that series, but I think they could have matched the guard play. And JJ Redick historically has had some decent game plans for Victor Wembanyama, but I mean, they would have lost Oklahoma State in the Western Conference Finals. It's such a bummer that this is where we're at, considering at the very end of the season this has to happen. But it's JJ's calling out players after the game, destroying DeAndre Ayton, getting him verbal spats with Jared Vanderbilt, and I kind of personally love it. I love that JJ Redick's taking ownership of this team. He's going to be here for the foreseeable future, and too much of the Lakers' previous coaches, Frank Vogel and Darvin Ham, was the worst at this. It was always defending the players. I mean, it was Mike Schilt on steroids. It was they would go on 4-game losing streaks and be talking about performances off the bench. I'm kind of happy when JJ Redick calls out DeAndre Ayton for not catching the ball or a lack of effort defensively from these guys. So, when the season looks pretty lost right now, pretty bleak. We're still getting to know if Luka can possibly come back, but heading into next year, I am excited that JJ Redick's kind of taking control of this team and not putting up with the BS.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. And I think the future for the Lakers is bright. They just need to get out of the LeBron James era, and we'll see where it goes. Okay, if you're looking for Padres talk, we will get to them here as soon as the game wraps up. Wait for a few more of you to jump in. There is news on Joe Musgrove. It's not exactly good news, so we'll get to it in just a second here. But sticking with the NBA, you look around the league right now, and now that we kind of have clarity on what the Lakers, how the season's going to finish up, hell, Luka may just be in Europe for the entirety of the offseason as he's there to get some training and rehab on the hamstring. But you are starting to see the picture come into frame a little bit. So OKC has gone from, I thought, the very smart move of kind of keeping the regulator on for a lot of this regular season, keeping well rested, not falling into the trap that the Warriors did all those years ago when they were going for the win record in the regular season, and it came back to bite them in the postseason. I think the Thunder have absolutely started to take the regulator off and are starting to look like that team that went and won the NBA Finals a year ago. And then you look around the rest of the West, and it's like, okay, is Jokic and Murray, as they're kind of starting to get healthy, all of a sudden Denver is looking like not just a team who can come in and compete with the Spurs and maybe give the Thunder a series, but like a team who, if everything goes right for them over the next few weeks, could actually be a legit contender out of the West and become a problem for teams. And then you look to the East, and all of a sudden Cade Cunningham is back and ready to go for the final week of the regular season. Like, I think we are ramping up for what's going to be a really good NBA playoffs, especially when you have the Celtics at full strength with Jason Tatum coming back. They're playing at MSG tonight or tomorrow?
Something like that, yeah.
So it's like, as we get to the close of the regular season, all of a sudden all the stars are coming out. And I think this has an opportunity to be a really good postseason. I don't think it's just as clear as like OKC is going to run away with it.
No.
You got some legit contenders from the East. And I think in the West, all of a sudden, like the Spurs and the Nuggets, as they're starting to separate themselves from the rest of the pack, might give OKC some trouble in the postseason or in the Western Conference Finals.
Well, just looking at the Western Conference, the Nuggets took them 7 games last year, and Oklahoma City did blow them out in that 7th game, to give them all the credit in the world. But any team with Jokic and Murray, the defense isn't quite the same as it was last year, but with the depth of Christian Brown, Cam Johnson, I mean, they got some players on that team and a lot more wing depth. Aaron Gordon is now fully healthy. That's a team that I don't think a lot of people in the West simply want to see, because they can just outscore you on any given night. If Jokic and Murray are on, they can just outscore even Oklahoma City, San Antonio. San Antonio is such a wild card because on paper they look great, and they've beaten Oklahoma City multiple times this year. But then it also is first time playoffs for Wemby. Is he really going to run through everyone and go to the finals? I'm not sure. The West now with the Lakers completely injured, I do feel like it's really a 3-team race. But in the East, there is a lot of teams that could. The Eastern Conference playoffs is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I think we could see some upsets. I think there's some real value at the bottom of the bracket in the Eastern Conference that people probably aren't talking about. Your Philadelphia 76ers, your Charlotte Hornets, that could give some teams some headaches at the top.
I'm looking forward to it. I really am. It'll be a fun, 2 months of the NBA postseason as it gets started on April 14th and doesn't finish up until like halfway through June, which is way too long, in my opinion, for an NBA playoff run, but we will get to it all when it comes. All right, it is San Diego Sports 760. We'll get to the big three here. As soon as the Padres games finishes up, we will give you lots of thoughts on what's happened both tonight or today during the day game and yesterday in the night game, as well as the news that came out about Joe Musgrove. Sammy, let's get to the big three. Go ahead, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. Big Three.
Now, Sammy, I don't think you know this, but earlier today for Big Rich, TD, and Fletch on 101.5 KGB, there's like a big dog adoption thing that's coming to San Diego this weekend. So they brought in like 9 puppies into the studio.
Oh, man.
Dude, they had like black lab puppies. They had a husky puppy. It was the sweetest dogs you've ever seen in my life, but now I just smell like puppy.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, I don't think so either, but it is like when I get home today, my dog is going to lose his mind. He's going to be pissed.
I just got a new dog a few weeks ago, and it is the best. Like having a dog around the house, it's just, dog's the best. Always happy to see you, the greatest.
Could you imagine doing this radio show with 9 puppies running around and yipping the whole time? It was chaos this morning over on KGB, but these were the sweetest dogs you've ever seen in your life. And I almost adopted one, and then my wife didn't let me. So that's where we're at right now. Where do you want to go with the big 3?
Let's go to baseball. Now, Connor Griffin last night had a couple hits against the Padres, was over 10 heading into the game. 19-year-old, supposed to become a superstar for the Pirates. They signed him this morning to a 9-year, $140 million contract. Do we think Major League Baseball goes too far with these long-term deals? Because like no other sport, we see 9-year contracts, 10-year contracts, 11-year contracts handed out to guys that really haven't proven that much. Or do you think this is kind of smart, getting ahead of the curve before they boom and they cost more?
So Connor Griffin is 19 years old, and this is the Jackson Merrill contract. It's essentially exactly the same contract that the Padres signed Jackson Merrill to. Jackson's was 9-year, 135. This is 9-year, 140. So it's kind of the archetype for this. Look, this is Major League Baseball teams kind of feasting on their young talent. If I'm Connor Griffin's agent, if I'm Jackson Merrill's agent, I'm not even considering these contracts when they're put out in front of you. But it is $140 million. Like, that's enough for Connor Griffin to be fine and his family to be fine for generations to come. And that's sort of how you have to look at it, is cashing in. When someone puts that piece of paper in front of you, you sign that piece of paper a lot of the times. But if Connor Griffin waits 3 or 4 years and he's great and he bets on himself, the Pirates won't be the one signing him to a massive contract, but it'll be another team, probably a lot more money than that. Here's where it makes sense for Connor Griffin. 19 years old, 9 years. When this contract's over, he's 28 years old, smack dab in the middle of his prime athletic earning years. So by signing this contract now, he is betting on himself in a little bit of cashing $140 million now. And then who knows where baseball contracts will be by the time he's 28 years old. So obviously, like, things can change, and you sign this now in case, I don't know, you get hit by a car tomorrow and you can't walk anymore. This sets you and your family up for generations to come. I just think it's crazy that in baseball, this is even a thing where you're getting these 9-year deals for people who are 19 years old. 19 years old.
The owners and teams have had a little bit of an advantage recently because of the fact that we might not have baseball next year. Possible lockout. They're pushing for a salary cap. So these guys are going, wait, I want to get it in now before this potentially regulations into where there's a salary cap. Teams like the NBA, like the NFL, are going to have to start making some tough decisions on some good players, because you can't just, hand out blank checks to certain players. I understand why Connor Griffin would do it. I mean, you're 19, $140 million, of course, and to that end, 28 years old, back in line for another big contract. But these teams, it's a lot of risk. Because a couple different things. A, if he's great, you're going to rip it up halfway through, and they're going to redo this thing. But if he's not great, then all of a sudden you're stuck with this guy for 9 years in the untradeable contracts.
Well, the question would be, do you think the Padres are thrilled with the contract they signed Fernando Tatis Jr. to?
Or Bogarts or Machado?
And those guys were old when they signed the contracts, but Tatis was young. I think he was 20, 21.
But exactly. But even Bogarts and Machado being older, those contracts are untradeable. And can you imagine if the Padres could get off those contracts right now and have some money to spend? Tatis, yeah, I think you'd still do the contract, as he certainly lived up to it so far. Not sure I'd say that, but it is baseball teams take a lot of risk with these 9-year deals, and not like the NFL where you can kind of spread it out over years. It's pretty risky. All right, back to the NBA. Cade Cunningham, we mentioned it, back tonight from injury, taking on the taking on the Bucks tonight. FanDuel has Boston as a plus 180 favorite to come out of the Eastern Conference, followed by Cleveland, then New York, and then Detroit. I expect Detroit's odds to jump up a little bit after the Cade Cunningham news. Is it Boston and everyone else a clear cut in the Eastern Conference, or is this a little bit a little bit tighter than maybe people are giving them credit for.
I think those 4 teams, this is going to be like brutality, and it's going to be survival of the fittest. Unfortunately, the war of attrition that is going to be the Eastern Conference playoffs makes me think that the Western Conference is going to have the champion, because I think there's just more to get through.
Tire themselves out.
Yeah, more evenly matched. You're going to have long series. Like, I know we talked about, Denver maybe can pose a threat. San Antonio can maybe pose a threat. Most likely, OKC is going to rip through the Western Conference Finals. Maybe one of those teams has something to say about it, but they are clearly the deepest and the most talented team. In the East, I see 4 pretty evenly matched teams, all with really talented ones and then a lot of depth around them. So I don't know, man. The East is going to be brutal. I would have pretty even money across the board for me in the East. I couldn't tell you who's going to be the favorite out of those 4 teams. It does feel like Boston, Cleveland, Detroit, and who am I missing?
The Knicks.
The Knicks are all pretty even to me.
It has an AFC playoff field in previous years.
A little bit, yeah.
In that the Chiefs have the Bills number, the Bills have the Ravens number, the Ravens have the Bengals number, and the Bengals have the Bills number. Every team plays each other well, and the Bengals have had the Chiefs number before. So every team kind of has a little bit of a kryptonite, and I think on paper the Celtics are the best team. But the Knicks did go into the Garden last year and beat them even before that Tatum injury happened. They were going to go up 3-1 in the series. They closed it out. They won 2 games at the Garden in Boston. Detroit destroys New York. New York cannot beat Detroit. And it's kind of this cyclical thing where the Cavs also have had problems before in the postseason where every team kind of has each other's number a little bit. And I think it's going to be a very fun Eastern Conference. And there's some real value there. I think the Boston versus the field in the Eastern Conference is a valid bet because the Boston's going, even in the first round matchup, they might have a Charlotte, they might have a Philly, which they should get through, but those aren't just sweep series. Those are talented teams. It's going to be a fun Eastern Conference.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here, and then on the other side, we will get to some Padres news. I don't know if everyone saw this about Joe Musgrove yesterday, but there is some news out about him, and it's not exactly positive news. Hopefully, this Padres game is going to be wrapped up by the time we talk next. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. SDFC back at home at Snapdragon Stadium coming up this weekend. They got Minnesota United pregame coverage with Adrian and Darren. Will begin at 7 o'clock right here on your home for SDFC, San Diego Sports 760. Padres game is in the books. A nice little 10-pitch not saved for Mason Miller. The Padres are up 8-2. I mean, that's where my reaction would start to this game. I understand Mason Miller hasn't pitched the last 2 days. Why is he coming in an 8-2 game? I don't know if I get that.
That feels like a rookie manager thing. Like,
I mean, he hasn't pitched in 2 days. Maybe you want to get him some work. He was already warming up because it would have been a save situation before the Padres' big 8th inning. But I think that's a warm him up and put him right back down.
So, yeah, a little surprising. I mean, I guess you just want to get him some work. It's early in the season, but all these things matter. And considering that Mason Miller is such a vital piece to this team because the bullpen really is the calling card. Little odd, but nice last week here for the Pods, kind of turning it around against the Red Sox, who's been struggling. But
is that a 4-2 road trip?
4-2 road trip.
Take that all day.
And, taking on a Pirates team that had been kind of streaking before they played the Padres. So, yeah, great little last week here. Nice to see the bats come alive a little bit. Little disappointing they couldn't at least get to Skeens. We were talking about that because, when you get to the postseason, you're going to have to be facing elite level pitching. They haven't really shown up so far this season against elite level pitching when it was Skeens, when it was Skubal, when it was Framber Valdez. But it is nice that they're starting to pick up some wins in some spots that they have more of an even pitching matchup. And yeah, I think now you come into the Rockies, everything kind of settled down after that first week where we're all sitting here like, what is going on? Why does this team look so disinterested? And sometimes a road trip can do that, kind of get you back on pace where you're just focusing on trying to win ball games. And yeah, great week for the Pods.
All right, Padres are back to 6-6. Rockies are actually 5-6. They're coming to Petco Park starting a 3-game series tomorrow. Or is that a 4-game series? I don't remember.
4-game series.
4-game series?
Yep, 4-game series.
Yeah, you're right. 4-game series against the Rockies beginning tomorrow at Petco Park. But I think positive road trip out to Pittsburgh too. Positive road trip to Boston. Now, last night things got a little squirrely. Last night, Nick Pivetta, I thought, pitched very well. I think he was going head-to-head with Paul Skeens. Both of them looked great. Paul Skeens obviously had a no-hitter going through 5 last night against the Padres. The bats couldn't come to life until Tatis got a hit. They got a little something going, but then Pittsburgh got a lot of things going against Adrian Morejon, who it's weird because I watch Adrian Morejon pitch. He's throwing like 99-mile-per-hour sliders. He's giving up just very weak contact ground balls, and all of a sudden everything's getting through. Our Padres are making errors. Xander Bogaerts had an error. Gavin Sheets should have had a ground ball. So things are a little confusing there with the Padres, but Morejon gets tagged for another 5 runs, I think, last night. And I don't know that he deserved to give up any of them. So I think his expected ERA so far this year is under 3, and his actual ERA is around 10. Which is brutal for Adrian Morejon, but these things, they'll balance themselves out throughout the season. But again, if you were to told me sign up for a 4-2 road trip, I would have done it in a heartbeat after the starts of the season that these Padres had.
Yeah, and it's nice seeing, like, over the weekend, Sunday wasn't a great pitching performance from the Padres, but the bats went out and won it.
Sure.
Merrill, Machado. Saturday, we've been talking about it. Laureano and Tatis coming through. It's nice seeing some of the guys who are making all the money coming through, because again, we can talk about Luis Campusano, we can talk about Jeremiah Estrada, fringe pieces, Walker Buehler and Matt Waldron, Herman Marquez, guys like that.
Luis Campusano had an RBI today. He was 1 for 4.
I'm not ripping Luis
Campusano haters,
but it's sometimes I feel like these guys get a little too much criticism because at the end of the day, the amount of money they're making tells you where they're at as a player. Sure. And that's not a shot to these guys, but it's hard to put all the blame on a Campusano or a guy like that when we're pointing to the big names. Why aren't you producing? It was nice over the last 2 series on the road. Some of the big names started to really get some production.
Now, the alarming thing for the Padres, and we'll talk about this more later in the show, is news that came out about Joe Musgrove yesterday. So it was around 3:00 yesterday. So right after Sammy and I were done with our show days, Kevin Acee released an article about Joe Musgrove saying he's just not there yet. And there's no timetable for Joe Musgrove's return. Last we heard from Kevin, he said mid-May, late May.
Yes.
And as of right now, there's no more timetable. We don't know when Joe Musgrove's going back. Is this a clone? Like, are these exact same things that are happening to you, Darvish, at the beginning of last season happening with Joe Musgrove right now? We'll get into it more. It's not cool to speculate about injuries, but I'm fine speculating about the Padres and their information that they give out.
Interesting how we had Kevin Acey on yesterday. He forgot to mention that in his interview.
Yeah, I feel like we just need to start asking Kevin at the end of every interview. Kevin, what article are you releasing an hour from now?
What breaking news are you going to break after our show?
Right. All right. Well, we'll get into Joe Musgrove here in a little bit. Coming up next, though, Mike Abram, who one of the best voices on golf in the country, is going to be joining us on the other side. We'll talk some Masters, get a little preview going on the other side at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This was sponsored by the Town and Country Resort. Padres just pick up a series win and a win over the Pirates 8-2. They'll be back tomorrow night, back at home in San Diego at Petco. Randy Vasquez will be on the mound, taking on the Rockies for a 4-game set. That game will be at 6:40. The Rockies have not released their starting pitcher yet. And we got the Masters getting going tomorrow. Scotty Scheffler's the odds-on favorite, followed by John Rahm. Rory McIlroy checking out at about 5th best odds to repeat as Masters champion. Remember spring break 09? Exactly. Let's not do that again. Good decisions can happen on spring break, and this one starts at Town and Country Resort. Rated number 11 on SoCal Resorts by Condé Nast Traveler Book, now at towncountry.com.
Spring break 09. Oh, no. Dang, dude. Spring break 09 was crazy.
I was 7.
That's crazy. It is San Diego Sports 760. SDFC back in town this Saturday night. They got Minnesota United pregame coverage with Adrian and Darren, begins at 7:00 right here on your home for SDFC, San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2:00 today. Sammy's going to keep it going for about an hour. After that, Schaefer and Sliwa will be your drive home alongside the venerable Brent Sperry, who's here in studio with us right now, actually. What's up, Brent?
Go.
It is San Diego Sports 760. Every year, the day before the Masters, I try to bring this gentleman on, known for his behind-the-scenes access at Augusta National. Mike Abram joining us on the phone right now. Mike, what's going on?
What is up, guys? How you doing? It is a tradition unlike any other. Welcome, friends.
It really is,
the Masters. Can't wait.
It's going to be great. Butler Cabin looking prime, ready to go. The course, though, Mike, all news is it's going to be a little bouncy out at Augusta. They haven't had much rainfall this year, right?
No, they haven't had too much. They got a little sprinkle over the weekend. Firm and fast. It's different than it's been the last few years, guys. And the best players in the world love that. They love to kind of cut out some of the field maybe so everyone doesn't have a chance. And, you know, right up front, you were talking about Scotty Scheffler, and he hasn't been on his game yet this year. Word is on the course, he's looking very, very on point with the irons, which is critical. He hits it high. He hits them exactly where he aims. You got to watch out for Scotty. But who's really interesting to me is, you know, we don't like to talk about Liv that much, but these two guys from Liv, John Rahm, who has a green jacket, and Bryson DeChambeau, who was in the mix and led for a little bit last year with his 2 U.S. Open championships. Those two guys are playing extremely good golf. And it's not the same week in and week out as playing on the PGA Tour and dominating, but Bryson is a gamer. He is playing extremely well. Rahm is playing great. Those two guys come in. And then another former Masters champion, and a former now Live player, a guy who's tearing it up on the DP World Tour, trying to get his PGA Tour status back for next season, Patrick Reed. He's number 1 on the DP World Tour, the former European Tour. And watch out for him. He knows how to play at Augusta.
When we look at Rory, the chance of him possibly repeating, do you think him finally getting over the hump at the Masters last year and playing relaxed this year helps him? Or do you think maybe he won it and he's kind of not out of the picture now, but certainly a step back?
He's kind of shown that he's kind of relaxed and not quite as focused he's still unbelievable. I think he might be the best driver of the ball, maybe in the history of golf, as far as combination of accuracy and length. He's incredible. So, yeah, it could go one of either way. It's where you lose that little edge to keep focus, because that was his whole focus for over a decade, was winning the Masters, winning the Grand Slam. He accomplished that, by the way, probably nursing a little bit of a hangover today in Augusta after the Champions Dinner, when he was pouring some 5-figure wines from France for the boys, along with their lobster and their Wagyu steaks. But it was, it's going to be, I don't think it's obvious that Rory's for sure going to compete. I think Scotty competes and is in the mix no matter what. And I really do think Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau and Patrick Reed are in the mix. There's one other guy that's a little sneaky that really plays well in majors. And at his advancing age, he's a former U.S. Open champion from England, Justin Rose. I'm friends with one of his coaches, Nick Bradley. I was talking to Nick yesterday. He was calling about something. And he's the new director of golf, head of instruction at Westchester Country Club in New York. And Nick's British. And they were working on mental things, he and Justin Rose. Justin Rose at 46 years old still has 182 mile an hour ball speed with the driver, which is more than tour average, which is incredible. That's typically what happens when you're in your mid-late 40s. You lose some of that distance. He hasn't lost that distance. You really need that at Augusta. And the way Nick was talking, they've figured that Rosie has turned now knowledge into wisdom. Wherever he goes, he has an advantage mentally. And with the course conditions, I think that's fantastic. I mean, he's got elite young player. I mean, not long drive guy, but elite young player ball speed. He's getting totally everything he's worked on is kind of meditative and focused and mental, because his physical game is right on right now. So he's another one to look out for.
Mike Abram joining us here. Mike, you got some new shoes that you're doing some commercials for. Squares, is that how you say it?
Yeah. I've been doing commercials for Squares for about the last 5 years. Got some new ones. They've got some new kicks coming out that are sweet. There is, wearing Squares. It's all I wear when I play golf. Big advantage. The whole thing is more stability, more balance. And that is a key. Your golf swing doesn't start with your hands, boys. It starts from the ground up. Squares helps you take full advantage of that and use that. So, I like them. A lot of tour players wear them. And, Squares they look a little different, but, man, you can't argue with the science and the comfort.
I'm looking online right now, Mike, and if you got an extra pair of those, I think it's called the Patriot, the red, white, and blue ones, you could send those this way.
Those are sweet, aren't they?
I can imagine smashing 10 or 12 Coors Lights while wearing those.
Yeah, JD loves to wear those, Big John. Yeah, they're great.
All right, Mike Abram joining us here. He's my golf expert. He's the guy I lean on for all these things. Now, Mike, so we've heard that the course is a little more bouncy. You're going to get a little more rollout on balls. What does that exactly mean for like the type of shot maker who's going to succeed on the course this week?
Well, it's a combination. It means that the fairways essentially become narrower because the ball can scoot into the rough easily. It also means when you're hitting irons to the greens, if you're a lower flighted ball guy, no bueno. The ultimate high iron ball guy, Scotty Scheffler. But what it also means is that even guys like Scotty Scheffler are going to miss some greens, or John Rahm or Bryson or Rory. So what that means is whose short game is on. And you can't miss it short side. You can't and if you guys have ever, it's hard to see on TV, but when you walk at Augusta National, it's so dang hilly. It's ridiculous. So when you get pins perched on, let's say, a far right back pin location, then it falls way the heck off. It's really, really difficult to get, if you miss it, let's say with a far back right pin, if you miss it to the right at all, if it scoots off, doesn't grab or spins back, it's really tough to get it up and in. So guys that are very patient, their short game is on, and they're kind of a high ball hitter, look for it. It always comes back around to Scotty. If he's on, he wins.
What's a name that, not necessarily to win it, but a name of someone that no one's talking about that is going to make a name for himself at the Masters this weekend?
He's looking for a top 10 finisher bet.
Yeah, exactly.
Ludwig Oberg.
Yeah.
And Ludwig Oberg, and he's not like a super dark horse guy. And the other guy that you can say that I always loved, I love his personality, and he just plays incredibly well at Augusta, and he's a Masters winner, Jordan Spieth. Not playing the best golf right now, but can be magical for a week at a time with his short game, and his putting can be magical. If he can keep the ball in the fairway, watch out. There's a good one with high odds.
Now, Mike, the name that a lot of people are starting to throw around in the betting universe because he has such long odds in this and it's just ridiculous value is Akshay Bhatia. I honestly don't know much about him. I'm starting to see clips of him and his caddy going back and forth. He seems like an incredibly cerebral player at a young age.
Well,
what do you like about his game?
Akshay Bhatia he's lean, he's tall. He's got kind of another advantage. There's been a lot of left-handed winners, including Mike Weir, of course, including Phil Mickelson. Feels different without Phil there, without Tiger there this year. They were the only ones missing from the Champions dinner last night. But Akshay, that's another great long shot one. His putting has improved dramatically since he went to the broomstick. At times it looks like he's anchoring it. I guess he's not, but he uses that long putter, and that's changed his game. He is a heck of a ball striker. He can hit it high. He hits it plenty long. That's kind of a good long shot he picked too. I like that.
And then how about the hometown kid here in San Diego, Xander? Is this the week he gets it done?
God, it could be. Xander's so dang good when he's on, and he does hit it high. He hits it plenty long too. He's met his caddy before, and he just is very cerebral around the golf course. And it's fun to watch. And then, of course, the last year's U.S. Open champion, J.J. Spaun, just won last week. Not typically bode well for a back-to-back winning the week before the Masters. But Spaun, with that great victory at the U.S. Open, I think those are a couple other good names to look out for. It's tough. It's so much fun. And it's such a horse race. And the tournament, as they say, never starts until the back nine on Sunday.
Right. Man, I can't wait. It's going to be a blast. It is every single year. Mike, before we let you go, we got about 60 seconds left. You got any behind-the-scenes stuff you want to give us?
Yeah, the the only behind the scenes stuff that I've got is that there's a lot of scuttlebutt and a little infighting with a lot of the guys. Some talking about, hey, Freddie Couples talking about, all I want to do if I see Tiger is love on him, and other guys saying, come on, man, he should know.
Yeah.
Someone's got to have a talk with him, at least get a freaking driver. So there has been some contention in the Masters champions locker room with Tiger. They've gotten a little heated with some of the guys. But last night they all came together. I got the word. It was good. Ben Crenshaw got up and said a few words, and he got Gary Player and Jack Nicklaus to stand up at the dinner and give their love to Rory McIlroy for what he did. And they told some funny stories about Rory as a kid hanging around. So they were, Rory didn't get too emotional, but it was a great event. And I guess everyone loved the dinner last night.
That's very cool. And I mean, those guys haven't necessarily gotten along over the years, so it's cool to see.
No.
All right, Mike, appreciate
it. And
appreciate your time, man. We got to run. We got to get to break, but thank you, man. Appreciate all you do every single year, and we'll talk soon, pal.
Happy to do it. Thanks, fellas. Talk to you soon.
Mike Abram was actually my boss once upon a time. It was my very first internship in college. He helped me out a lot getting started in San Luis Obispo. One of the more knowledgeable dudes on golf in the world. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. Take a quick break here. Long shots on the other side. The dreaded 2 for 3 came to attack us last night.
Ridiculous, man.
3 for 3 coming in shortly. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Listen up, everybody. We are 1 week away from the brand new slot machine debuting at San Diego's favorite casino. It's Valley View Casino and Hotel on Wednesday, April 15th from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. They are unveiling the brand new Wheel of Fortune cash on reels slot machine. Valley View Casino and Hotel, thousands of slot machines cover this place from wall to wall. You got to go check it out. You got to get there and sign up to be a part of the Players Club membership. If you're not a Players Club card member yet, signing up is always quick, easy, and free. And when you join the club, you're going to get over $200 in free offers to enjoy instantly at San Diego's favorite casino and hotel. Get over there to Valley View Casino. Get $10 of more play, which is free slot play, $10 of match play, $10 or $20 to the Black and Blue Steakhouse, $10 to Patties and Pints, which is home of the best burger in San Diego, the Austin Burger. I love it. Get on over to the Valley View Casino and Hotel. When you upgrade your Players Club card from red card to blue card status, you're going to get 2 free Maine lobster buffets for you and your special someone. The more you use your Players Club card on all your favorite slots or table games, the more rewards you're going to earn, like complimentary dining, free hotel stays, luxury gifts, invitations to exclusive events, and more. To learn more, visit valleyviewcasino.com. All guests 21 and over are invited to enjoy the casino, hotel, and restaurants. And a very happy 25th birthday to the Valley View Casino and Hotel, which is coming up later on in April. Get on out to the Valley View Casino Hotel. Just got a DM, Sammy Long, a DM on Instagram, which my DMs are open at Fletch Sports. You can hit me up anytime you want.
Slide into Fletch's DMs.
Anytime you want. This is from our buddy Pete, who says, I'm a new listener on 760 AM San Diego, and I love your guys' show. And I also love gambling. But it's frustrating when you guys talk about it and we can't do it here in San Diego. How do you guys do it? Well, we don't gamble, Mr. Pete.
You have come to the right place.
We do something called trading, and it is completely legal here in San Diego, California. I use an app called Kalshi. This is not a paid endorsement.
No, I use Kalshi too. It's great.
That's just the app I've been using recently. There's a bunch of them you can use. But every day around this time, we do something called long shots where Sammy builds out a 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7
depending on how feisty we're feeling.
Combination is what we call it, not that other word.
Just like you would invest in a stock.
Right. So it is
sports.
You say it's not legal in California. This is 100% legal here in California, and it is not gambling. It is trading. It is investing. It is all those good words. So we have been using Kalshi. That's not a paid endorsement. You can use it as well. It's easy to download, easy to sign up.
Shout out to you, Pete. Thanks for tuning in, man.
Yeah,
we love,
seriously, Pete,
love
thank
fellow
you for
gamblers.
finding us however you did, and we appreciate you being here. Sammy, you ready for some long shots?
I am. We have a juicy NBA parlay and I'm feeling really good about.
Just one other thing in this universe real quick. You read the odds off in one of your updates today, Sammy, that Jon Rahm has become the second favorite to win the Masters this year.
Mm-hmm. Ben Fletcher moving lines.
If we realize, like when I first put that out there, he was the 5th favorite. So
right, no, you were on it. You said it. You said this on Monday.
Things are happening.
Or last Friday, you gave out your Rahm pick.
I think I had it at like 15 extra money or 10 extra money. I can't remember exactly what it was, but today it's down to like 7x your money. So
everyone, it is funny how because Scotty just had a kid, hasn't been playing in a month. Rory, people are questioning, does he have the same drive to win it because he finally won it last year? It does feel like there's a lot of everyone's picking other guys besides Rory and Scotty. And I think your Rom pick is fantastic. And I'm with you. He should be up there on Sunday. But I feel like we could be a little undervaluing Scotty and Rory at this point. Like, I feel like it's gone a little too far.
Probably. I'll tell you, the other ones that are really fun with the Masters is you can like bet who the leader is going to be after each round. Like, there's so many cool ways to bet on the Masters. This is going to be a very, very fun
love the
game.
head-to-head matchups. Like Rom versus Scotty. Rom's plus 120 to just beat Scotty's score. That's fun when you're just doing 1v1.
Oh, it's a blast. This is going to be an awesome 4 days. All right, Sammy, let's get to long shots here on a Wednesday. Go ahead, smash.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money, you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance
Say that me and his man.
with long shots.
But yes, Pete, you have found your home. We welcome all shapes and sizes. We welcome all gamblers here on The Zone with Fletch and Sandy.
Shout out to Pete.
Where are we starting?
All right, we're going to the NBA. This is a really fun week betting the NBA. You can find a lot of value here because just like there's a lot has been made about tanking in the NBA, a lot has been made about teams not trying to win. When we're looking at it from a gambling perspective, there is a lot to be said for that. And you can really kind of take advantage of teams that need games last week of the season, with the season winding down on Sunday versus teams that don't. All right, so Atlanta Cavs, really fun game tonight. This is the Cavs are currently the second betting favorite to come out of the Eastern Conference. They got James Harden at the trade deadline. Pair him with Donovan Mitchell, because that's kind of the piece that's been missing the last couple of years with them, is they haven't really had a running mate for Donovan Mitchell. And although Donovan Mitchell hasn't always had the biggest playoff success, his personal numbers have been great. They got rid of Darius Garland. Now they got James Harden there. And the Hawks have been playing fantastic basketball. People haven't been paying attention. I mean, Jalen Johnson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Onyeka Okongwu, Dyson Daniels. This team is very deep. Like 1 through 10, this is a very solid lineup. They both average 119, 118 points per game. But what we've been a trend we've been doing on this show, if you've been listening, final weeks of the season, Vegas has not adjusted the point totals yet. When the playoffs start next week, you're going to see these point totals at 210, 211, 212 because guys are really going to have to lock in defensively. The point total for this game tonight is 235.5. That is a huge number. We're going under. They're two excellent offensive teams, but Donovan Mitchell is questionable tonight. Jalen Tyson is questionable tonight. And I just believe that with both teams needing this game, the Cavs trying to catch the Knicks for that 3 spot in the East, and the Hawks trying to make sure they're staying out of the play-in and able to avoid that entirely. So I like the under tonight, much more defensive matchup than we've seen throughout the season. Give me under 235.5. All right. Minnesota and Orlando. Orlando is a 10.5 point favorite. We are laying that. Smash Orlando tonight. Orlando is going to crush Minnesota. If Minnesota was fully healthy, this would be a great game. Minnesota, though, is now locked into that last spot, the 6th spot. They're going to stay in that. They're going to be out of the play-in, but the chances of them catching the Rockets or the Lakers, I don't believe they can catch the Lakers actually, because the Lakers have a tiebreaker despite them losing. Edwards out tonight. Mike Conley out tonight. Gobert, Randall, Ayo Dosunmu, they're all out for rest and various reasons. Orlando still needs this game. They're trying to move up in the standings. They recently got Wagner back. I think they're hammering them tonight, minus 10.5. Smash Orlando. They've been a good basketball team recently in Minnesota. There's nothing in it for them tonight. All right, Thunder Clippers. Riskiest bet of the day.
Then do we just leave it off?
No.
Keep it at 2.
No, I love it.
Riskiest bet of the day, and I love it.
Clippers plus 7.5. Tell you why. Oklahoma City.
I'm leaving it off.
Best team in basketball. They are. Even last night against the Lakers, if you watch the game, if you look at the final score, they dismantled the Lakers by 35. But the Lakers are playing absolutely nobody. They actually came out pretty flat in the first and second quarter. On the second night of a back-to-back, the Clippers need this game. The Thunder do not need this game. They're going to be the 1 seed. They are playing fantastic basketball. They're more about getting rest for next week. The Clippers need this game. And quietly, if you've not been paying attention, the trade to acquire Benedict Mathurin and Darius Garland and Kawhi Leonard, now all of a sudden you have a pretty nasty big 3 at the guard and wing spot. I like them being able to hang around at home. They need this game much more. They're trying to stay in that 8 spot, not get jumped by Portland at the 9 spot. So they have 2 shots to make it in the playoffs versus playing in that 9-10 game where they got to win too. I like the Clippers at home tonight, plus 7.5. It's too big of a number for a team that needs this game way more than the Oklahoma City Thunder. Give me the Clips. All right.
Yeah, but OKC just won by like 35 last night.
Did you see the Lakers roster?
They won by 45 a week ago against the Lakers when most of the Lakers were healthy.
They were trying to prove a point against the Lakers.
OKC's regulator is off.
Clippers plus 7.5. Orlando minus 10.5 at home. And I like the under in Hawks and Cavs, under 235.5. Way too large of a number for tonight.
I will say I left the OKC pick off.
I feel really good about that Clipper pick. This is coming from someone who hates the Clippers with a passion.
Is really good at twosies, is all I'm saying. He's an excellent twosie guy. Threesies have been great at going 2 for 3. Maybe we just leave one off today.
No, I am adding the Clipper pick. Everyone can gamble or trade whatever they want to do. Clippers are going to cover tonight.
All right. It's San Diego Sports 760. Hour 2 is coming up next. We got one of the fastest rising stars in boxing joining the show, Jonny Mansour, coming up in hour number 2. Stay tuned. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Padres close out the road trip 4-2, get a big win over the Pirates, 8-2 today. They'll be back against the Rockies tomorrow night at 6:40. Randy Vasquez will be on the mound. The Rockies have not announced their starting pitcher. And Cade Cunningham back tonight for the Pistons after missing the last few weeks with a collapsed lung. They're currently the 4th odds-on favorite to come out of the Eastern Conference. And the Masters gets going tomorrow. Scotty Scheffler is the odds-on favorite at plus 500, followed by John Rahm, Roy McIlroy, rounding out the top 5. Choosing the right home service company isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about trusting who's in your home. That's why homeowners count on Anderson for friendly and professional service that keeps everything running right. Visit AndersonPHA.com.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
I'm excited about it. It brings a lot of people together.
Now, from the San Diego Sports 760 studios, we go in the zone with Fletch and Sammy.
It's hour number 2, San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. Sammy's going to take over then, go along with Sammy from 2 to 3. And then John Schaefer and Alan Sleewall will take you home from 3 to 6 p.m., our new drive time afternoon show here on San Diego Sports 760. All right, I will apologize in advance for the next 2 show days because they will absolutely be distracted radio with the Masters starting in Augusta, Georgia tomorrow bright and early in the morning. So the next 2 days will be fun little watch parties. If you want to jump in the YouTube stream, share thoughts about the Masters, what's going on. I'm sure we will be talking a ton about it. But for today, Padres wrapped up a nice little 4-2 road trip. They started in Boston, won 2 out of 3 there, went to Pittsburgh, won 2 out of 3 there. Now the Red Sox have been really struggling this year. Pirates were on a nice little run before they ran into the Padres. And I think the Padres did a lot of damage to them. Man, Paul Skeens looked excellent last night against the Padres, had a no-hitter going through 5. But that game wasn't really out of question until a bunch of errors and weird defensive plays and C&I ground balls off of Adrian Morejon ended that game for the Padres. Like, I'm not saying it was a good 7-1 or 7-2 loss, whatever it ended up being, but it was about as good a 7-1 or 7-2 loss as you could possibly take. Now, today, the Padres were kind of in a pitcher's duel for the entirety of the game. Michael King was fantastic for the Padres, and the Padres offense really couldn't get it going until they did. Jake Cronenworth with a home run, Luis Campusano with a nice RBI, Fernando Tatis Jr. with a couple of hits. It was good to see the Padres offense really come to life late in the game. And then even though they didn't need him, Mason Miller came out and was dominant for 10 pitches in the 9th inning to secure the 8-2 win for the Padres today. So a little bit of bad, a lot of good on this road trip for the Padres. They come back home to take on the Colorado Rockies for a 4-game series beginning tomorrow. And maybe, just maybe, this Rockies team is actually a little better than they've been in years past, although I don't know if I buy it. Their 5-6 start. We'll see. I think there's some encouraging signs with the Padres here after this road trip.
Well, I think at the very least, you can say they rewrote the first week because that was concerning. The first 7 days was they just kind of looked lifeless, and we gave them somewhat of a pass for the Tiger series because they were facing elite level pitching, which I don't really think is a pass, but you know that they were facing top end starters, and maybe it took them a minute to get going. But when the Giants came down here after looking awful against the Yankees in their first series and getting after the Padres, that was concerning. But them getting on the road trip, I don't care that Boston's struggling. That's a tough place to play, and in a very proud franchise that has a lot of young talent with it, even if they are struggling. I mean, Roman Anthony, I know they didn't see Crochet, but Ranger Suarez, who they got to on Sunday, was their high price acquisition in the offseason. So a lot of credit there. And then credit to against this Pirates team. I mean, Keller and Chandler, the wins they got against the pitchers are solid pitchers. Skeens gets the headlines, but those 3 pitchers that they all faced were very talented. Yes, would have liked them to be able to see more against Skeens. They're going to get a lot of opportunities this season against elite level starting pitching. We are still waiting on that one game where they get to an elite level pitcher. And again, that's easier said than done. I'm not going to sit here and crush them for not getting to Paul Skeens because a lot of teams in this league, most teams can't get to Paul Skeens. We have seen when they've stepped up and faced competition, Skubal, Valdez, Flaherty. They were decent against Logan Webb, very good against Ranger Suarez. I give them credit against Chandler and Keller, but Skeens definitely got after him. But this weekend for the Padres against the Rockies is important because 4-game set. Rockies haven't been awful, but at Petco, the ball's not flying out like it is at Coors Field. You gotta expect the expectation this weekend should be Padres 3 of 4. Or a sweep. That should be the expectation. They need to flat out win this series, and then you're heading into Seattle, Angels. Like, you got some fun matchups coming up, but this is really, you kind of got back on track after the road trip. Can you continue that momentum at home and take advantage of a Rockies team that you've historically beaten pretty badly over the years?
Yeah, looking forward to it. It should be a good series back at Petco Park. Now, the alarming things for the Padres, and we'll get to Joe Musgrove in a second. Here's what I'll say is something very good for the Padres. Manny Machado didn't get his first off day last year until like mid-September. He was off today for the Padres. So if this is Craig Stammen's strategy, and you would think it would have to go hand in hand with what Manny's thinking, like Manny was not healthy by the end of last season. And as you get older, it becomes harder to play 152 out of 162, which is what Manny wants to do on a year in, year out basis. I just don't think that's realistic for him anymore. So it's good to see them taking him we're like 12 games into the season and he had his first off day. I think that's a positive thing for the Padres. A scary thing for the Padres is the quotes we've seen over the last couple of days about Joe Musgrove. So Joe Musgrove, we were told this offseason, he's gearing up for the start of the regular season and should be a main factor in the rotation. We'll see about pitch counts and stuff. That's really where our worry was. And then he had that spring training start against Great Britain where maybe he pushed it a little too hard. After that game, all of a sudden he's on the IL. After that game, all of a sudden we start hearing things about, maybe it's going to be May. And we're like, what? May? This dude was supposed to be part of the rotation to start the year. And a stint on the IL is all of a sudden going to knock him out until May? Well, yesterday, Craig Stammen, talking to the media, said it's going to be a slow and arduous process, but Joe is willing to put the work in, and sooner or later, we'll get him back. Sooner or later, we'll get him back. Joe Musgrove said this: just getting it to feel good enough to go out and pitch right now is not really what I'm looking for in March and April. I've got to be able to pitch all year long and do more than just 1 or 2 starts and end up back in the same spot. So a lot of it is gauged on how do I feel right now, and does it feel like something I can continue to build and progress with? So until I get to the point where I feel like I'm getting consistent enough good days of catch and recovery to where I feel like I can throw a pin, and after the pin, I'll be able to play long toss and throw another bullpen and get in the next game. That's what he's trying to get to right now. So we don't have a timetable for Joe Musgrove. And I would say, in my eyes, it's safe to say it is no longer going to be mid-May or late May. This is looking like a problem that may continue to progress.
Text us 70470. Start your message with team. 70470. Start your message with team. Are you concerned about Joe Musgrove? Because there's kind of 2 schools of thought here. The concerned part for me is they did this last year with Yu Darvish. They told us he was going to be ready. Then all of a sudden it was a couple weeks. Then all of a sudden we don't see him for a couple months. The Padres are historically very cagey about stuff like this. They're very cagey about injuries. They don't really always tell you the truth. The flip side of this is, are they trying to do a Dodgers where the Dodgers basically put Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, Roki Sasaki on ice for periods of time last season in significant portions of time. And then all of a sudden, a month before the postseason, they're all healthy and the Dodgers starting pitching ran through the postseason like no other. The concern with that is the Padres don't necessarily have the depth to do that. The Dodgers had the depth to where at one point during the regular season last year, the starting rotation for the Dodgers was not very good, but the Dodgers are banking on the fact that they're so talented 1 through 9 and in the bullpen that they could kind of overcome some of these losses from starting pitching. The Padres don't have the Dodgers depth to be able to do that. Joe Musgrove can kind of be that ace card coming down the stretch where he's fully healthy for the playoffs and all of a sudden Joe Musgrove's ramped back up. But although we have seen German Marquez in his last start look good against the Pirates, and Buehler was okay in his first start, not great in his second start, you don't know what you're getting from Buehler or Marquez. Those are 2 guys that if you happen to win on a day that they're pitching, that's fantastic.
Or for that matter, Waldron and Canning.
Right. It's a complete crapshoot, and relying on that for the full season with the Padres bats who have been great over the last 6 days, not great to start the season. So probably somewhere in between if we're doing laws of averages. Hopefully they kind of keep up this momentum, but it's tricky. I don't know if the Padres are trying to do that with Musgrove or they're trying to bring him along slowly like the Dodgers, or is this he's actually hurt and they're not telling us and it's concerning.
He's obviously not right. Joe Musgrove is not the type of player who doesn't want to be out there as much as he possibly can. But I do think with a certain level of maturity, this isn't the worst thing for the Padres. This isn't bad news in my eyes for the Padres that Joe Musgrove may not be ready for a couple months because of the success that other teams have done with the same strategy. And you highlighted the Dodgers. They're not the only ones, but you think about what this could be like if around trade deadline time, you're in need of a starting pitcher and you just got Joe Musgrove coming back. You don't have to give up any prospects for him. That's not a bad thing to me. So if they can hold water, if they can hover around like 2 or 3 games over 500 and not get to a point where they're losing water fast, I don't think this is a bad thing whatsoever. You would much rather have Joe in late September than you would right now.
Jay Silv saying the MRI confirmed TJ procedures intact, just a hella slow recovery. 619
hella slow, yo.
619 saying, of course I'm concerned about Joe. But as you said, we get such little info from the front office or managerial staff. It's hard to know where things really start. That said, it will take some time, given he needs time to ramp up to be able to pitch in an MLB regular season game.
Yeah, and Kevin has said it's gonna be at least 3 rehab starts in minor leagues for Joe Musgrove when he does.
It's gonna be a little while.
It's going to be a while. All right, San Diego Sports 760, big three of our number 2. We do have those Lakeside Rodeo tickets. They will be given away very, very soon here on the show. And Jonny Mansour is going to be joining us coming up at 1:30. Fast rising boxer right here out of San Diego. Can't wait to talk to Johnny. All right, Sammy, go ahead, smash.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
Let's head to the NFL.
Where would you like to start at our number 2?
Let's head to the NFL. Texans pick up their options on Will Anderson and quarterback C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud coming off that brutal playoff performance against the New England Patriots, where he had 4 turnovers in the first half. Where do you see the Texans in the division going into next year? Is it the Jags division now? And could we see the Texans as one of those teams that are possibly in the market for a quarterback next season?
The C.J. Stroud thing is fascinating, man. And I'm really curious to see what happens with Jaden Daniels, because I think they had similar rookie seasons, and then C.J. Stroud has kind of fallen off a cliff. Whereas with Jaden Daniels, we all expect him to bounce back and be great, but C.J. Stroud's a pretty good case study for what could happen to Jaden Daniels. I still think, and we talked to the voice of the Texans, Mark Vandermeer, right before that postseason game, and he said, look, C.J. Stroud is their quarterback of the future as of right now. I think C.J. Stroud would have to have another terrible season for the conversation of another quarterback to jump into the conversation. But this is telling that he's getting to a 5th-year option. This doesn't always happen with quarterbacks anymore. Usually by the time they hit this time of their career, they're signing their first big contract. That's what happened with Trevor Lawrence. That's what happened with Joe Burrow. That's what's happened with a lot of guys so far. So the fact that C.J. Stroud is even getting to the point where the team is picking up this 5th-year option does tell you that the Texans are keeping their options open.
Stroud's an interesting quarterback this year. It feels a lot like Herbert last year. I think Herbert and Trevor Lawrence last year, heading into last season. I think Herbert and Lawrence have higher upsides than C.J. Stroud, but all these guys have had similar career paths. They hit the ground running, unbelievable. Stroud, Herbert, Trevor Lawrence was the next big thing in the NFL. Year 2s didn't quite live up to that. Year 3s, Herbert and Lawrence bounced back last year. And Herbert and Lawrence, I think after last season, we can confidently say are franchise quarterbacks. Stroud, after that first season and that run he went on before they got smacked by the Ravens in the AFC divisional round, has not been the same. I'm not killing him for the playoff loss, because when you don't have Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz, or Woody Marks in that game, and your star left tackle, Tunsil, goes out, it's hard for me to sit there and completely blame Stroud. But if Stroud's going to let Lawrence pass him in his own division, you got Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Lamar, Herbert. You got Mendoza now in the picture. Not that the Raiders are going to compete this year, but like the Texans with a loaded quarterback class next year, it does feel like the fact that they're not giving him a massive contract, they're still a little hesitant to give a lot of cap space to him. All right, let's head to baseball. Big fight. It was fight night last night with the Angels.
This was fun. Jorge Soler throwing some haymakers.
Jorge Soler for the Angels and Atlanta pitcher Ronaldo Lopez been suspended 7 games each for the big brawl in Anaheim last night. I mean, I don't want to say what was your reaction to the fight, but I'll just go and then you react to this.
Okay.
I'm not condoning violence, okay? But I will say it is fun in a baseball season where a lot can be monotonous and it's 162 games and it can feel like a little bit of a drone at times. It's fun that you're seeing the competitive passion from these guys. Now, it was taken a little out of context. Soler hit a home run off Lopez earlier in the game. There was a ball that hit him. Don't think it was Lopez's fault, intention, and then it went kind of high. Again, I'm not condoning violence and things like that, but it is fun when other sports we see that fire and that edge, and we see it in Major League Baseball in the postseason, but sometimes in the regular season, especially the first month, we don't always see that. So it's kind of fun seeing 2 teams last night that you could tell really cared and have a little bit of a rivalry.
Look, I was here for it. I know who's the pitcher, not Soler, the other guy.
Ronaldo
Lopez. Him throwing a punch with a baseball in his hand is kind of crazy. That may cross the line. It's essentially you're trying to hit a dude with a rock at that point, essentially. I did love the big dude in the back who just jumped on the whole pile like Ray Lewis trying to force in a fumble. It was crazy. That was a good one. I had the conversation this morning with a couple of guys in the building, and we were saying, baseball should adopt a little bit of a hockey mentality because it feels more dangerous when the bench is all clear and it's one giant pile just moving across the field. Like that's what it feels like someone could actually hurt. Where if you just went hockey style, okay, Soler and Lopez, you guys duke it out for a little bit. Someone hits the ground, that's when the umps break it up, and that's it. We don't need to do the whole benches clearing thing, and that'd be a better product for us watching.
It's fun seeing some competitive fire.
Yeah.
On a Tuesday night in April, sometimes you can see the players going through the motions. It was fun seeing that.
I had a good time. Do you have a good time?
I had a good time.
There you go. I think most fans feel that way.
Story number 3, real fast here. Draymond Green, interesting story out of the NBA last night. So Kings up 1 point on the Warriors at the end of the game with about 4 minutes to go. The Warriors in the play-in, Kings out of a playoff spot. Anyway, Doug McDermott fouls away from the play. It looks like intentionally, even though they're in the bonus, sent Steph Curry to the line. Draymond Green after crushes the NBA for tanking, saying 10 to 12 teams are tanking so far this season, and crushes the NBA for finding players all the time.
And let's pause right there because Draymond Green may have fixed tanking. We'll tell you how on the other side.
That's a tease.
You like that one? You set it up beautifully,
fantastic.
Sammy. I was just trying to sneak it in there. All right. Also, those Lakeside Rodeo tickets will be given away on the other side. But did Draymond Green fix tanking, and will the NBA listen? That's next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. Sammy will keep it going then. Go along with Sammy from 2 to 3. John Schaefer and Alan Sleewall take over after that. We were talking about the Angels-Braves brawl from last night, which was a good one if you missed it. Soler throwing some haymakers, man. But 858 says pitchers running out of the bullpen during a baseball brawl is the goofiest thing ever. Just start throwing down in center field. That's a great point.
That is a fantastic point.
Why come all the way to the infield when you guys can just go head to head in the outfield?
Well, it's like, what's that Jay-Z line? He said, you know the type, loud as a motorbike, who would bust a grape in a fruit fight. That's pitchers. They just have to run out there for show.
Yeah, and then stand in the back and be like, oh, yeah, kick
tough.
his ass, dude. Yeah, kick him in the balls, bro.
I love how like in like baseball players there's like two guys that want to fight and then everyone else runs out. And
the best was when Yasiel Puig tried to take on the entire team by himself.
That
you
was
remember
fantastic.
That one? I put that picture up in your man cave because it's so cool. Yasiel Puig just like stepping up like Jon Snow, waiting for the entire army to come at him.
Because football players fight because, I mean, it's natural, it's aggression. NBA usually gets broken up pretty fast because of that. And then you got like boxers and UFC fighters who are getting in fights ringside when things are happening. That's, you know,
it is funny in the sports where you're actually fighting. Like you'll never see more respect for an opponent than in a UFC match. Usually.
Oh yeah, because I mean you're getting in there. I mean,
right,
putting your life on the line.
Yeah, it's funny. The male mentality of fighting is so stupid for the most part. Like it's just so dumb. 619. Nothing kills my sports enthusiasm more than Fletch talking about golf. I edited that text a little bit. Look, if there was a time of year to do it,
come on, it's the Masters.
It's now. This is the one time of year where the regular sports fan also tunes into a little golf. So I apologize, 619, but we're not changing it.
Yeah, I love talking some golf,
especially this week. This is the 1 week a year where I feel like it's acceptable, but I may do it a little too much other times a year.
Think of it just from a gambling perspective. If you don't like golf, just something to watch, something to bet on this weekend.
You think I care about horse racing on a daily basis? I'm not following it inside and out, but if I'm at the races, baby, I'm throwing down.
By the way, Derby coming up in a couple weeks.
Let's go. I'm all in. We got to play that game that Jonas Knox plays where it's like, is it a horse name or is it what is it? He might do porn star names.
An adult star? Yeah.
I don't know if we're doing that, but we could do something simple.
If Jonas Knox can do it, we can do it.
Yeah, let's bring Jonads on. All right, real quickly, did Draymond Green save the NBA? He has an idea to stop tanking that I actually think is kind of genius. So if it's clear and obvious, which right now there are, would you say 8 to 10 teams that it's clear and obvious they are tanking?
He said 10 to 12. I think it's more like 8 to 9.
8 to 9 teams that are clearly and obviously tanking. Stop finding players, start finding owners.
Right.
There should be a financial penalty for owners who are on teams or who have control over teams who are clearly and obviously tanking and giving up on seasons.
Exactly. Because to be fair to the players they
don't want to be on tanking teams.
Right. The players want to go out and play. The players aren't the ones that are like, hey, I want to lose. The players don't care about the team getting a draft pick to go take their job. I mean, why would they want that? It's coming down from the owners to the coaches and then to the players, and the players get crushed. And to Draymond Green's point, we'll see how badly they want to tank when they're getting fined hundreds of thousands of dollars nightly for pulling guys. I mean, Bryce Sensabaugh has been having a great last couple of weeks, former player out of Ohio State. And he was excited to play the Thunder. Brian Windhorst had this morning on First Take. He was excited to play the Thunder because it was the one time that he would get to play the full game because he knew that they would get blown out. Like they're having guys get pulled out of games because teams are like, oh, this is great. We're showcasing young talent. But, oh, wait, we might actually win the game in the fourth quarter. We're pulling back. And it is a bummer. I mean, the NBA is desperately trying to get to the playoffs to where the tanking conversation is done. But Draymond Green had some very valid points, and finding would be interesting.
It is funny when you think about Draymond Green because so many people characterize him as just a loudmouth idiot. And that's really not what he is. I think Draymond Green's kind of a genius with an anger problem. But he is a very, very smart guy. And that's the first legitimate take that I've heard from anybody, media, player, otherwise, who it's a solution that could actually fix tanking.
Right, because the owners don't like that. The owners are like, wait.
Right, they didn't get to be billionaires by losing money at any given moment. So if they, except for their investment in the WNBA. But if they want to stop tanking in the NBA, that's the way to hit them. And it can't just be like $50,000 fines. This needs to be like actual altering fines.
Right, not dropping the bucket. Or how about this? You lose a draft pick. We'll see how badly
That's
they want
even
to
better.
tank if you start losing draft picks.
That's even better. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. Coming up next, one of the top rising San Diego athletes. His name is Jonny Mansour. He's 6-0, professional boxer. Looking forward to this a lot. That's on the other side, live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Unbound.org. Padres got a big win today, 8-2 over the Pirates, winning the series against them. They'll be back in San Diego for a 4-game set against the Colorado Rockies. Randy Vasquez will be on the mound for the Pods, while the Rockies have not named their starter yet in the Masters. Get going tomorrow. Scotty Scheffler is the odds-on favorite, followed by John Rahm. And big news out of the NBA, star Cade Cunningham back in action for the Pistons tonight after missing the last couple weeks with a collapsed lung. They are the fourth odds-on favorite to come out of the Eastern Conference. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. Sammy will keep it rolling then for another hour, and going along with Sammy, Schaefer, and Sliwa will take you home from 3 to 6, our brand new afternoon drive show here. All right, earlier this week, we had Juju Ballo on the show, a fast superstar rising here out of San Diego, born and raised in the East County. And he's going to be fighting on April 18th at the Front Wave Credit Union new arena up in Oceanside. And today, on the same card, 6-0 in professional boxing, we got Jonny Mansour joining us on the show today. Johnny, man, how the hell are you? It's a pleasure meeting you. First time getting to talk to you. How are you?
I'm good, guys. How are you? Pleasure to meet you.
That's awesome, man. It's we might have a little bit of a problem here with our stream getting you on here with connectivity, but let's see if it works out. We'll try to make it work. So 6-0 in professional boxing. You made your pro debut at Pechanga Arena here in San Diego. We talked about this a little bit with Juju, but what does that mean to you representing San Diego with your fighting career?
You know, San Diego's my hometown. I was born and raised here, and you know, the city is full of energy when it comes down to sports. You know, we used to have the San Diego Chargers. Now we got the Padres. Now we got SDFC, and now we're bringing boxing to San Diego. You know, so I'm excited for this upcoming fight and ready to just put on for the city.
I'm curious, when you approach a fight like this, your career is obviously on the uptick here. How do you balance just trying to go for the KO and put on a show for the fans and get them out as quickly as possible, and also bank some rounds and kind of work on some things you've been working on in the gym?
You know, I just control my emotions. Honestly, when there's 3,000-4,000 people cheering for you, you know, it gives you that energy, that adrenaline to just want to knock somebody out. But boxing is a sweet science. You know, you got to stay sharp, stay composed at all times, because one punch can change the whole night. So for me, just realizing, you know, it's a dangerous sport, staying smart, and keeping my hands up and just doing what I love to do.
April 18th, Front Wave Arena up in Oceanside. You can buy tickets at sdfightnight.com. Jonny Mansour is going to be on the card. His cousin, Juju Ballo, will be on the card. And if you can, Johnny, talk a little bit about your guys' relationship. Juju had great things to say about you, talking about you guys training in the gym, growing up together. What has he meant to your career so far?
Honestly, man, it's a dream come true for both of us. You know, to be doing it as cousins. Dream to make it on Team USA, and we're
All right, we might need to make some adjustments here with Johnny. It looks like the connection is going to be a bit of a problem here. We'll see if we can get him to call in here in just a little bit and see if that can work. Sammy, if you can, just talk for a second here while I make a couple texts.
Yeah, well, it is so cool. We're figuring out the connection right now. I mean, boxing in San Diego, it's such a fight town. I mean, it's San Diego, Palm Springs, LA. When we saw now Manny Pacquiao, I'm curious when Johnny gets back up on the stream here, his kind of relationship with Manny Pacquiao, because Manny Pacquiao has come in to the kind of team boxing league down here in San Diego and really kind of put boxing back on the map in SD. And there's been a lot of great fights in San Diego over the years. But I think what's so cool about Johnny and Juju is we've had some fighters over the last couple of years. Giovanni Santillan was a guy that we thought could be something. Brian Norman came in to Pechanga and unfortunately really took it to him. But these guys really have the ability and to reach the next level and become world champs. And they're in the right weight classes to do this. I think a lot of people over the years, it's always been said in boxing, the division boxing goes the way the heavyweight division goes. And that's true for the casual fans. I think for the people that just tune in with their boys, their family members on a big time pay-per-view. But these smaller divisions, 126 where Juju's at, and then Johnny at 135, I mean, there are big names galore. Like at 135, you're talking about Tank Davis, Keyshawn Davis, Ryan Garcia's a couple weight classes up, Teofimo Lopez. There's a lot of guys that could make a big matchup.
So April 18th is the date of the fight. Sammy and I are both going to this. I can't wait, man. This will be my first big fight night in San Diego. I've been to a couple in Fresno back in the day, but this will be awesome. And Juju's going to be on the card. Jonny Mansour is going to be on the card, both fighting out of East County here in San Diego, both claiming it as home. And we got Johnny back. How about that? The marvels of modern technology. Johnny, we've missed you, man. It's good to hear from you again.
I'm back. Sorry about the connection error.
It's all good. It's not your fault. It's probably the computer's fault. But thank you for doing this today. We do appreciate your time. So what's the training camp for you been like leading up to this fight?
Training camp's been going great. Just working really hard. This is gonna be my first 8-round fight in my hometown, and I'm excited. I'm excited because I've always wanted to go longer rounds. I always felt like I had that long distance style. So I feel great. Training camp's been going great. I'm feeling in shape. My weight's coming down good, and I'm excited.
Johnny, what do you, if you're assessing your own game, what do you point to as your kind of best asset? Being a boxer puncher, your excellent defense, or your power?
I would say I'm definitely a boxer's puncher, but to be honest, I could do a lot of things. This camp I've been focusing on working on the inside, actually hurting people. I've been stopping all my sparring partners. This is my third sparring session that it didn't go past 4 rounds. So working on that inside, I could box. A lot of people like to rush me thinking I can't bang, but if I got to get down, I'll get down. And that's exactly what I'm going to do on April 18th.
SDFightNight.com. That's where you buy tickets to see it go down. Johnny, if you can, let's talk a little bit about the mentality of being a boxer, because you and your cousin, you're both young guys. You're still up and coming in this world. How do you train the brain as much as you train the body to get ready to quite literally go to war against another guy who's trying to knock your lights out?
Honestly, man, when you work hard, it gives you all the confidence in the world. So once I start to eat healthy, once I start to sleep early, I sacrifice a lot. I sacrifice a lot of family time. Even, on Easter, I left the family function. I got there at 8:30. I left at 9 p.m. So making a lot of sacrifices and staying disciplined and just working extremely hard was what gives me the confidence to know that there's nobody working harder than me. So that's what gives me the mentality to be great.
Manny Pacquiao recently got involved in San Diego boxing with his boxing league. I'm curious, have you had much contact with him? Has he kind of mentored you, or do you know him at all?
Actually, Manny Pacquiao just followed me on Instagram over the weekend. It was like I was shocked. It was like Manny Pacquiao has been my idol since I was 8 years old. Even growing up watching him versus Timothy Bradley. He's a country hero, and by the way he carries himself, not only inside the ring but outside the ring, is what someone that I always looked up to. So to be around him over the weekend, I was a little nervous at first because for April Fools I posted that I'm fighting Pacquiao, and a lot of people
I saw that.
it. Yeah, so being in the same room with him was a little. I'm like, how is he going to take that? And then he was really cool about it. He shook my hand and. God bless him and his family. Great people. His wife's amazing. His son, Jim Well, just fought. I went there to support him. And, it was amazing. And he followed me, and I wish to see him at my fight.
Johnny, that's a dangerous April Fool's joke to make, because if Manny sees it, it's like, okay, let's do it. What's the plan then? I guess you got to get in the ring with Manny Pacquiao.
Hey, this is boxing, man. One day you got an idol, and one day you're fighting him.
That's a great line. All right, 6-0, 2 knockouts in your career or in your professional career so far. We seen a knockout on April 18th. Are you calling your shot?
Honestly, I never like to call my knockouts, but this fight I'm coming different. I've been working on the inside a lot. Like we were talking about earlier, my style is elusive. Fighting on the outside. But all my last sparring sessions, I'm working on the inside game. So you'll see a little bit different style this time. Not much dancing and more punching, I would say.
You're fighting at 135. There's some big names in that weight class. Tank Davis been inactive for a while, but Keyshawn Davis, and then a couple weight classes up, Teofimo Lopez and Ryan Garcia. Who do you see with yourself as kind of the big money fight that you would like to one day be able, be on the marquee with someday?
I definitely see myself in a ring with all those guys. But it's all up to God. It's all up to my team, and it's all up to me, to be honest. As long as I work, it's what gives me the confidence to know that I belong in there. So whatever God has planned, whatever my team has planned, a dream fight for me would be guys like Javonte Davis and Ryan Garcia. I love the energy that they bring to the arena, and I feel like I bring that same energy, and it'll be a great fight one day.
Jonny Mansour joining us. He's going to be fighting on April 18th at Front Wave Arena up in Oceanside. Brand new, beautiful arena. You got to check it out if you haven't so far. sdfightnight.com for tickets. Jonny, before we let you go here, I'm just curious to hear your thoughts on the future of boxing. It feels like we had a moment where boxing may have been America's most popular sport, and that was with Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson, and some of the most recognizable athletes in the country were boxers. Can boxing get back to that, and are you part of that generation that's going to lead the charge?
Absolutely. To be honest, boxing is in a very weird position right now. Nobody can really predict, what's going on with Zuffa, stepping in. But at the end of the day, as long as boxing keeps putting on shows and the boxing world comes together and we don't lead to separation, I believe that the future is great for boxing.
Jonny, it was a pleasure getting to meet you, man. Thank you for sticking with us through some tech problems. I'm sure it was on our end, not on your end. You have a great day, man. And Sammy and I are both going to the fight, so we can't wait to see what happens with you and with your cousin on Fight Night coming up on April 18th. We're looking forward to it, man. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
All right, Jonny Mansour. How about that? 2 days this week, we've had some of the top rising boxers in the world jumping on our show. I know that means a lot to us, man. We're proud of it. Thank you to the team over there at Front Wave Arena for helping us get these interviews, and cannot wait for April 18th. That'll be my first one in San Diego, Sammy. I've been to a couple at the Save Mart Center up in Fresno.
Really?
Yeah, we saw Nate Diaz's brother fight one time, which was awesome. You talk about like all the people from Stockton coming down to Fresno to take over an arena. That was one of the craziest nights of my life. But this will be my first time in San Diego going to a big fight night.
There's I've been to one. I've been to when Navarrete fought here against Charlie Suarez a couple years ago. But yeah, they going to fights, man. There's like a different vibe in the crowd. It's the best. It's like there's just like a buzz. Everyone's waiting for something to happen.
We got to be kind of well behaved at this fight.
We do.
Yeah, this isn't one of those ones where we can just go get ripped.
Oh, are we with upper management?
We're with some pretty big hitters at this one, Sammy.
Really?
I had to work to get us these tickets.
Okay. So all right. So it'll be a different mindset going in.
Yeah, this is a different mindset. This can't necessarily be like it's screaming at the top of our lungs when one of our bets cashes. This can't be shotgunning Coors Lights. We got to actually mind our P's and Q's a little bit.
By the way, I was super excited to go to the fight, everything. But I've had that with Chiefs games where we've gotten tickets before where some people had tickets and suites. And I have turned them down playoff games because the suite vibe versus the people that have been freezing all day out in the parking lot, smoking meat since 4 a.m. on the cookers. It's a different vibe. And so I think it's perfectly reasonable when someone invites you to a game to ask, where is the seat? And is it suite level?
Yeah, I got offered a press pass for one of the Niners NFC Championship games. I think it was the one where Brock Purdy's elbow exploded. And I said, I can't go.
Yeah, like watching in the press box where people aren't cheering. Cheer.
Yeah. I was like, I can't do that.
No,
I cannot physically do that. I won't be able to contain myself. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. That was a blast getting to chat with Jonny Mansour. Can't wait for that fight night, April 18th, up at Front Wave Arena in Oceanside. Get your tickets now at sdfightnight.com. It's San Diego Sports 760. Final break of the day coming up next, live on the iHeartRadio app. Wait, don't do anything. Lakeside Rodeo tickets inbound, baby. Coming up in a couple of weeks here in April. I think these are the Sunday tickets that we have to give away for you. April 26th, it's the 62nd annual Lakeside Rodeo. Bull riding, steer wrestling, kids, stick horse races, rodeo queens, and more. Get tickets at lakesiderodeo.com or call right now 877-767-4760. You know what? Johnny's 6-0, so caller number 6, you're getting these tickets. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
sending Curry to the line. It was a really strange sequence. And then it led to Draymond Green saying just something's not right here post-game. Listen.
I saw a team tonight foul Seth Curry with 3 minutes to go in the game for no reason. In the penalty. I get fined when I do wrong. Just fine the hell out of people. You know, we love taking money from players. Keep fining the teams. I've seen 2 fines. And we all know everybody take it. But you've seen 2 fines. If it was players, we snatch that money in a heartbeat. Why isn't it the same? And we see 12 teams tanking. We've seen 2 fines. My math serves me correctly. That's 10 that ain't been fined. Just some quick math. It could be wrong, so don't judge me if it's wrong. But I'm going to keep that same energy when it comes to teams, when it comes to officials, when it comes to everybody but players. We don't keep that same energy. But it's a players' league.
I've seen plenty of
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you for a final time here today. Sammy will keep it going for another hour. Going Long with Sammy is coming up next. Schaefer and Sliwa after that. 913 texting into the show saying, Fletch, can you procure some tickets to that front wave fight for listeners? I am working on that, 913. I'm hoping to have some news for you on that very, very soon. If not, I'm sorry I said anything. But I have had conversations as early as this morning to make that happen for our listeners.
Hell yeah.
Hopefully that's going to happen.
Ben's having conversations without me. I was not looped in on that.
No.
Hopefully,
it was an in-person conversation. It was so it wasn't an email chain or anything. It was an in-person conversation where I got a verbal maybe. So that verbal maybe is enough to hopefully tie you over for a couple of days, 913. He also says no edibles beforehand for you, Sammy. So you're going to want to take those words with seriosity. take him
With
seriously.
seriosity.
It's not a real word. I just made it up. All right. Before we get out of here, 619 number who says you hate it when I talk about golf. Too bad. Tommy Fleetwood hit a hole-in-one at the par 3 tournament today. Now, what's fascinating about that, no one who has ever won the par 3 tournament has gone on to win the Masters. So the par 3 tournament happens every Wednesday before the Masters. No one who's ever won it has gone on to win the Masters. The best anyone's ever finished is second place. It's happened twice. So just because you have success in one doesn't necessarily mean success in the other. Do you remember a few years ago, Tony Finau playing in his first Masters ever on the par 3 tournament, hits a hole-in-one, dislocates his ankle in celebrating the hole-in-one he just hit?
That is so brutal.
He still played in the Masters. I think he finished top 10, actually. But it's just a little bit of ghosts in the machine when it comes to the par 3 tournament and the Masters. Success in one doesn't always mean success in the other. I still love my pick for Jon Rahm, and we'll see if it plays out over the next couple of weeks. Sammy and I are both in a massive Masters pool.
Yes, Ben got me, and I'm very excited. I've never been in a Masters pool like this. I wasn't able to get in last year.
By the way, if you take it seriously, DM me, and I can get you into this pool as well. There is a financial cost that comes with it, but if you DM me at Fletch Sports, I can send you a link. My buddy's doing it. It's a lot of fun.
No one wants to do free Masters
I'll
pools.
do the first 4 or 5 people who DM me about it. You can get entrance into this thing as well. All right, we're done for today. Sammy, who you got coming up on your show today?
We have an hour-long conversation about the relationship between Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel.
Have you been following along with this?
Oh, yeah.
Now, they've both put out statements as early as today that they've said these pictures are completely taken out of context. Diana Rossini said there were 6 other people with us at the pool. I don't know. That picture of them just lounging poolside was just the 2 of them.
Hey,
that hug was awfully close.
Go get yours, Kinks.
They're both married.
Oh yeah. Well, never mind.
This is Coldplay all over again. I wonder if Coldplay was playing at the pool.
I got the most famous man in this building, Frankie V.
Frankie Vizzle
coming on at 2:30 today. And we're gonna get to a lot of stuff. A little Padres, a little NBA, Draymond Green. We got a lot of stuff to get to over the next hour.
That's awesome, man. Can't wait for it. I'll be listening on my drive home. Hopefully you all are as well. Schaefer and Sliwa coming up right after that. I'm sure plenty of reaction to today's Padres game, as well as the news that Joe Musgrove has no timetable for return. A packed show day the rest of the way. It's San Diego Sports 760. Thank you for being here. I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, add to stage.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. The Padres beat the Pirates 8-2 today in Pittsburgh. Michael King picked up his first win of the year. The Padres took 2 out of 3 from Pittsburgh and took 2 out of 3 from Boston, so they went 4-2 on their first rodeo of the year. The team comes home tomorrow to start a 4-game series against the Rockies. And in other baseball news, Angels DH Jorge Soler and Braves pitcher Ronaldo Lopez each got 7 games for their participation in last night's big brawl between the Braves and the Angels. Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Going long with Sammy.
That's going to be hot.
In depth on the story of the day. Plus, it's warm in the hot seat. Now, it's Sammy Long.
Welcome back, everybody, to Going Long with me, Sammy Long, and a very special guest if you're on the stream. Frankie V from Channel 93.3 jumping on. This man does more radio than anyone in the entire cluster and was cool enough to come on back in person. So what's up, dude? How you doing?
I'm good. When I get a text from Sammy Long saying, hey, do you want to pop on and talk some sports with me for a few minutes? This is not work. This is pure pleasure on a Wednesday afternoon. Let's go.
For sure, man. I seriously, thank you so much for coming in. We got a lot to get to today. So Padres finish off a nice little road trip, 4-2. We got some Draymond Green sound. We're gonna get to it a little bit about tanking in the NBA. But I got to start off with you.
Talk to me.
You do a show in Boston.
I do.
What's the panic level for the Red Sox?
Man, it's frustrating. I'll tell you that much. I don't know if it's the panic level yet because I do feel like the Red Sox are like the Dodgers, like the Yankees. You figure it out. You got a budget to work with and things can happen. I know that there's some chance of sell the team and other things that were being said in Fenway Park, which you never want to hear because obviously big Red Sox fan, big everything with that. So first question, what's the panic level? I think it's not high yet, but it's getting there. But I do think they are a team because of the passion, because of the pockets they do have. They'll get it figured out.
There is something, though, I like to your point, yeah, we're hearing sell the team and everything. Yeah. It's a little excessive a week into the season.
Excessive.
But I do like that mindset from sports cities.
Yeah.
Like Boston has that, Philly has that, New York has it, LA has it, to be fair to LA.
They do.
Where, yes, people can go, you're a little too hard on the teams and they go on a 2-game losing streak and the sky's falling. But I would rather have that sometimes than some small markets where it's, don't say anything about players. I think a lot goes left unsaid because of the lack of accountability. And I like that from Boston. Like Boston, whatever team, if the Celtics are going to the championship and losing, that's a failure of a season.
It is. And I was just actually out to lunch with a buddy and we're talking about this and the fact that certain ballparks, certain games, like you lose, it's all good. We'll just go party afterwards. If you lose and you're a Red Sox fan, you leave Fenway Park and you go home pissed off. Like let's be serious. Like you don't go home and party afterwards or go to the bars and lands out there.
Yes.
You go straight home. And same when the Celtics lose or even the Patriots. So I do feel like it's a city that you must win in. And if you're not winning, I mean they're terrible right now. They're the worst team in baseball record wise. It's not a look that city as a fan growing up with the Red Sox wants to see. But we've seen this before from Boston teams, from New York teams, from LA teams. When this does happen, they find a way to spin things around.
What was your, as a Boston sports fan, what was your favorite dynasty? Because there's been so many, or playoff, like series win or championship win of any of the sports for you personally?
Crazy thing is when I think about my favorite dynasty for the for a Boston sports team, it brings me back to my childhood. And I wasn't as dialed in because I was much younger, but the Celtics of old, we had Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish. There's something about that, the old school basketball that they brought to the table. I think that was my favorite era. Again, I was such a little kid at that point in time. I wish that was now so I could understand it. So that's probably the one, but the other one that we all talk about is the Patriots run with Tom Brady and Belichick. You can't ever put that beside you. I know that everybody except for Patriots fans hated the Patriots, and it was kind of fun to be a part of the inside circle of, no, that's my team, and we are going to win another Super Bowl. Like, we went into each season. Talk about if you didn't win the Super Bowl, it was a failure of a season. Some teams, you make it to the playoffs, like, man, we had a good season. The Patriots are at the point where if they didn't win that Super Bowl, it was a failure of this season.
Right, like this year. I think you look at Drake May and the Patriots and go, it kind of came out of nowhere. No one expected. I think people expected growth from Drake May.
Of
We're
course.
excited after rookie year, but I mean, that was to go to the Super Bowl. I don't think too many people had that on their bingo card. And then you take the Patriots, to go through, I know there was some unfortunate with injuries against the Chargers and Texans and Broncos, but that was impressive for a young quarterback to really get through that. Where do you see the Pats at going into next year? Like, do you think it was a little bit, I'm going to call it a fluke run, but because there was a lot of injuries the other way, or do you think Drake May is here to kind of take over part of the AFC?
Two-part answer to that question. One, was it a fluke run? Semi. Like, as a huge Patriots fan, I will be honest, it was a semi-fluke. I mean, they did have a lot of stars aligned through the season to get them there. That being said, take nothing away from Drake May. In my mind, top 3, top 4 quarterback in the league right now is second year in. He might be the best quarterback in the NFL in a couple of years, and that's not taken away from any other quarterback. But what he showed with a team that, in my mind, was an average team. I mean, it wasn't the best on paper team.
Yeah.
He played a great amount of mature football for a kid that's in his early 20s.
I also, it's so impressive how Drake May, you look at him and, I mean, he didn't have that many weapons. Like, Keyshawn Boutte kind of grew a little bit, but he wasn't some top 10 pick. He was a guy who grew out of LSU. And then Stephon Diggs has the name of Stephon Diggs, but he's not what he once was when he's with the Bills.
He's coming off the ACL injury, so we didn't know what he was going to be. And I think he had a great season because Drake May helped him have a great season. It wasn't the other way around.
Are you there's been a lot of rumors about them trying to get A.J. Brown.
See a lot of that.
Are you for that, giving up a little picks in the future to get a bona fide star, or where are you at with that?
See, I get torn on that because I don't mind giving up draft picks to get somebody, but it's not like A.J. Brown is 21 years old right out of college. So you don't want to give up too much and then wonder why can't we build that dynasty. However, I think at this point in time, if you get a bona fide A-plus wide receiver like A.J. Brown, for Drake May, I do think you give his confidence level a boost, and that could actually make him a better quarterback down the road to have that top-notch receiver.
I was talking about this with Chino the other day, who, as we all know, is a massive Raider fan.
Yep.
The NFL's at an interesting turning point because you had the old guard of Brady, of course, and Roethlisberger, and Manning, and Rivers, that whole group, and Aaron Rodgers. Now, then you have Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, and Lamar.
Yeah.
And now you have this new wave of quarterbacks with May, Bo Nix, Brent's Caleb Williams, and Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
And then there's supposed to be a great draft class coming in next year. I'm curious with like Mendoza coming this year. I'm just curious who kind of steps up because Burrow, Lamar, and Mahomes all missed the playoffs last year.
They did.
I don't expect that to happen again. And yes, I am a Chiefs fan, but I don't expect that to happen again. But I'm like, something's got to give because there's these kind of quarterbacks that we anointed before and have earned it, and now this new wave of guys. Some guys are going to get left out. Like the AFC is going to be so interesting because of the amount of talented quarterbacks in the conference.
Right, and here's what I do like about this right now: the younger guys are playing like 1-5 pros, and the guys that have been around are still playing top level. I mean, Patrick Mahomes had a Super Bowl year as a bro, but they're still top-notch quarterbacks. So I just think the league's packed with quarterbacks. So one of the names that you mentioned that I do worry about is Fernando Mendoza coming out of college and most likely going to the Raiders. The Raiders and the Jets are two places that I feel like
blacklist.
Yes,
stay away.
You ruin quarterbacks' lives. I mean, how many times has a quarterback gone to either team and done terrible, but then moved on and done something, or just had their careers ruined? I like the kid, best quarterback in the draft, best player in the draft. Will be drafted number 1. I do fear him going to the Raiders and having a little bit of a struggle.
What do you make of? Because I mean, the Patriots dynasty, everyone knows it. It's Drew Bledsoe gets hurt. He was a very talented player. Brady comes in. The rest is history. I've argued with Fletch a lot about this because there's been the last few years, ever since Mahomes, actually, when he sat behind Alex Smith, then Lamar sat for half a season, and then they kind of took over after a season or after half of a year.
Correct.
But I'm kind of for, because it's such a vital window in the NFL on a rookie contract before you have to pay these guys. And Tom Brady was really, obviously, best quarterback in football, but we also didn't take all the money. So Tom Brady was a genius in that, and he's like, I'll take a slot receiver. I'll take a third corner.
Right.
versus just taking the max amount of dollars. But there's rumors that they signed Kirk Cousins with the Raiders. Mendoza could be sitting for a while, maybe a full year, at least half a season. Where do you stand on that? Are you more like throw them in there, or you let them kind of get their feet wet, even though it might sacrifice a year of potential development?
I think you let them get their feet wet. I mean, you look at Drake May as a perfect example. You know, they got Jacoby Brissett his rookie year to kind of play. And Jacoby, we knew, was not, as a Patriot fan, the answer, right? But he was that Phil guy that knew the system. He had played before under the exact same, type of system. And I think it was smart. You look what Drake May did this year. He earned that spot. He beat up Jacoby ultimately a little bit earlier than he wanted to, probably, but stepped into it. I think if you threw Drake May into the fire right away, might have failed. And I think when you're a young quarterback, if you struggle your first few games, it messes with your psyche. It ruins your season. Next thing you know, you're going, 3 or 4 wins, and all of a sudden you start getting questioned saying, hey, man, Fernando was that number 1 pick, and he only got 3 wins for the Raiders. He's not going to be this good. It gets in their head. So I do think you got Kirk Cousins. He's a bona fide pro. He's been around the league for many years, many different teams and offenses. I think he goes in there. Not only does he do probably decently, but he gives Fernando a chance not only to sit, but to learn, because you're learning from a guy that's been in the league for a while.
Maybe it's just like our society and that we want things now.
Yeah.
But it's funny how 20 years ago, I mean, look at Aaron Rodgers. They had Brett Favre. They let him sit for, what was that, 2 years? I mean, it was not even expected. Even if quarterbacks started right away, there was a grace period where you were basically given a season stuck.
Yep.
Second season, you wanted to see at least growth, even if it wasn't in wins. And by the third year, you were supposed to be in the playoff picture, a team that could contend. And now maybe it's because of Mahomes, which is a little unfair because he did sit the first year and that made him grow.
For sure.
Lamar hit the ground running. Herbert really changed it. Herbert and CJ Stroud, because Herbert comes in that second game, is unbelievable right away. And you have these guys that just kind of, hit the ground running. And now, I mean, before Caleb Williams had his breakout year this year, we were talking about, is he a bust?
And that's a great example is Caleb Williams, because I thought he was a bust. I thought he was overhyped going into the draft. He came out of USC. Everybody's like, oh, he's the best guy. But I didn't know if he was going to be the guy. And then all of a sudden he had a rough first season. I started being a non-believer of him. And then he made me shut up and others this year when he came back. It could have gone quickly the other way. We've seen that multiple times. I mean, multiple quarterbacks have come into the NFL. Again, most of them going to the Jets. That come in supposedly successful.
The scrap heap.
Yeah, and exactly. They're left for nothing. So to answer your original question, I think sitting 1, maybe 2 years is probably the best thing for a 21-year-old quarterback coming out of the league.
And it is. I mean, you pointed out, look what we've seen now. Sam Darnold's won a Super Bowl as a guy who was cast off. Geno Smith, not good anymore, but had a resurgence with the Seahawks. Baker Mayfield,
great example,
is a guy who the Browns didn't want you, and then didn't work out, and then all of a sudden he's been kind of the franchise guy in Tampa ever since Brady retired. And the whole kind of second chances, like we are too quick to give up on quarterbacks. And even, I mean, we saw this with Bryce Young. I don't think Bryce Young is some superstar quarterback in the NFL at this point, but when you trade with the Bears to get the number 1 pick, and you give away DJ Moore and you give away all your top receivers and talent, the cupboard's pretty bare. So you're asking a young quarterback who is a rookie to go do more with less. So it's kind of like, it is kind of crazy that we expect so much immediately, when it's like, unless you have some stacked team around you, and the only quarterbacks that are getting stacked teams are the quarterbacks going at the end of the first round,
for sure,
who don't have necessarily all the measurables you look for.
You brought up a good point, and I saw an article, I think it was last week, where they say a lot of teams do trade everything, their first round pick and their second round pick in the first round next year, just to get that first spot this year, to get that quarterback. And you're setting up a rookie quarterback now with not only a lost maybe star player and first round pick in this draft, but now you're giving him 2 to 3 years of failure in front because you traded the whole house to get this dude. I think that's an unfair thing for a lot of these players because they come in with the high hopes, but it's not their fault. There's nobody to throw the ball to. There's nobody to throw the ball to. It's not your fault that you can't complete a pass. If you don't have a strong side guard or tackle and you're getting sacked every time, you can't throw a football if you're getting sacked every time. It's not their fault.
I mean, that this better than anyone. That's what made the Patriots dynasty so money. Whereas Brady was Brady, but you have Gronk and then Edelman every damn third down, watching those 3rd and 5. Somehow he's wide open across the middle, and you had Amendola over the years, Randy Moss. I mean, so many guys that like Amendola and Julian Edelman don't jump off the page in terms of that guy's like electric at the combine, but they're just in the right spots.
And the Patriots are smart enough to keep them and find ways to use them. And ultimately didn't break the bank with them, but gave them enough money to say, hey, look, that you're our guy to make this happen. And then what happens with that is Brady does what he did, took off some money, like you said, and you built a core team. Again, Brady didn't come out of college a star. I mean, he was a late round pick. He also sat behind Bledsoe. He got his break because Bledsoe got hurt. I think him sitting behind Bledsoe for a little bit of years, Bledsoe, another great quarterback. Tom Brady learned a lot in that, year, 2 years behind Bledsoe before he was thrown into the fire to play. Had he not had those years and they expected him to jump in there, I don't know if Tom Brady would have been Tom Brady that we know today.
Frankie V hanging with me from Channel 93.3. You all know him. Super kind, hanging out for the next 20, 30 minutes. All right, coming up next, I want to get Frankie's thoughts on who was the factor of the dynasty, who was bigger, Brady or Belichick. Also, we got some pressing Draymond Green sound. Calls out the NBA for tanking. Has Draymond Green fixed it? We're going to play that sound for you. Coming up next on Going Long on San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. Welcome back to Going Long right here on San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. Frankie V from Channel 93.3. Hear him and Gina in the mornings every day, 6 to 10. You know, I used to, I still listen to you guys when I'm up that early. I do sleep in a little bit, but I used to listen to you guys every day on my way into school. Every day.
Does that make me feel old or make me feel excited?
No, man, it's the best. But you guys, you and Gina and Angie in the mornings, you guys crushing it as usual. As a Boston sports guy,
yeah.
And then we're gonna get to some Draymond Green sound, the Padres a little bit. But when you talk to people from Boston, it's so Brady or Belichick.
I get so torn on that because obviously Brady is Brady, the best to ever do it. But man, Belichick gets put through the ringer a lot. And I feel like, I don't know if Brady would be Brady through that stretch if there wasn't for Belichick. I will say if you put 2-2, it's going to be Brady is my guy. I'd say he's one that was stronger of the two. Like you could have found another coach eventually and it would have been okay. But I do think Belichick, because he went off to UNC and has been struggling. And then obviously once Brady left, they were struggling. He got kind of a bad rap for the past few years, but I think he's the best to ever do it on the coaching side. And I think that Brady's the best to ever do it on the quarterback side.
It is. I mean, all these dynasties we see in New England, I think what made that dynasty so airtight. I mean, it was such a airtight dynasty. You didn't hear drama that came out of there. Like during the dynasty, you didn't hear a lot of the scandals of the Deflategate and stuff like that. But you didn't hear a lot about the infighting from them. And then it come to find out with that book that Kraft and Belichick hated each other, and Brady and Belichick never went to dinner. I mean, it's kind of amazing that it was able to be kept under wraps for that long.
And it shows a good team, right? Because when you're a great team like that, you understand that there's two separate things, right? There's personal life and there's team life, and they kept team to team, person to person. I think that's what made them so successful. And Belichick, that credit goes to him. I think he's the type that says, look, what happens here stays here. We don't want to hear about this in the media. And he was a perfect example when an interview would come in. If he got questioned anyways, he didn't want to answer, he wouldn't answer. And I think that Belichick did that to his teammate, to the players on the team. And I think that ultimately is why there was a lot of success and a lot of drama that we didn't see.
100%. Frankie V from Channel 93.3 joining me today. Brent, I believe we have some Draymond Green sound. So last night, I don't know if you saw this, Frankie, the Kings and the Warriors are playing. Mm-hmm. Now, Kings awful, not going anywhere, trying to get a lottery pick in the NBA. Yep. Warriors hanging on to the play-in. And it was 101 to 100. The Kings were winning. Yeah. Doug McDermott intentionally fouls off ball with them in the bonus. So Steph Curry goes to the free throw line, and so there's a lot of things came up about tanking and were they, are the Kings trying to intentionally lose the game? And Draymond Green had this to say after.
I saw a team tonight foul Steph Curry.
Oh, did it stop over there? Oh, okay. All right. Well, basically what he ends up saying, we'll see if we can get that sound. Basically what he ends up saying is he calls out the league for allowing. Oh, okay, Brent, we got it.
I saw a team tonight foul Steph Curry with 3 minutes to go in the game for no reason. In the penalty. I get fined when I do wrong. Just fine the hell out of people. We love taking money from players. Keep fining the teams. I've seen 2 fines. And we all know everybody tanking. But you've seen 2 fines. If it was players, we snatch that money in a heartbeat. Why isn't it the same? And we see 12 teams tanking. We've seen 2 fines. My math serves me correctly. That's 10 that ain't been fined. Just some quick math. It could be wrong, so don't judge me if it's wrong. But we're going to keep that same energy. When it comes to teams, when it comes to officials, when it comes to everybody but players, we don't keep that same energy. But it's a players' league.
So a lot there. I mean, a lot's been made the last couple months with the tanking. I know you're a big Celtics fan. It's felt rampant this season because of the talent in the NBA draft, and it speaks to that. There's been the past couple of years, the NBA draft hasn't had the depth. I mean, Darren Peterson, Cam Boozer, Darius Akov. You can go down the list. There's projected to be 10 guys that in this draft that you think could be not just good players, but franchise-defining players in the NBA. Like, would that solve it for you? How big of a problem do you see tanking in the NBA? And then do you think his solution of just find them, you got to find the owners because they're finding the players, find the owners is going to solve anything, or it really has to come through rule changes?
I don't think finding anybody's gonna work. I do feel like Draymond Green is definitely speaking from personal experience because he's gotten a lot of fines in his career, and I feel like he's frustrated seeing stuff happen. Like he said, it's like when I do something wrong, I hear about it and I got to pay. So I think he's talking a little bit from frustration on his own being as a player. I don't. It's funny because the tanking, they do say that, but is Steph Curry going to tank? Are these players like I just don't see some of these players as ones that would tank. But then you see these documentaries that come out and you hear about these, betting on games and all this stuff and the scandals that have happened. Do I think it's a problem? No. Do I think they might want to keep a close eye on it and nip it in the bud now before it gets worse? Yes, this season's definitely a telltale of a little bit more, but than I've seen before.
It is. It's hard because to your point about the players, I mean, the players have no reason to tank because the players are like, wait, I don't want to help my team get a better draft pick so they can draft my replacement.
100%. 100%. And I think when it comes to an owner standpoint, I mean, are they really telling these coaches, hey, you're going to lose your job if you don't tank this game? So I don't. Again, there could be a documentary years to come on the 2026 basketball season. This was all happening, but I don't see it as bad as Draymond Green's making it. I don't know about last night's game, if that was a tank situation to try to get Cambuz or something like that, but I just don't think it's as bad as he's trying to make it.
I don't even blame, like, the tanking to me is a problem.
Yeah.
I can't even blame the teams though, because the way the NBA has formatted it is that you have to match salaries on trade. So you can't, in the NFL, you could trade a guy who makes $40 million for a guy who makes $5 million. And with draft picks, it doesn't matter. You have to match salaries. They incentivize players getting more money if you draft with the team. If the team that drafts you want to sign with them, you can make more money to incentivize small market teams to have more of a shot.
Right.
So everyone's not going to the Lakers, Knicks, Celtics, Miami, because they can just pay more. And like, with that, so it makes drafting a talented player that much more important than even trading for or signing a big time player. So it's hard for me to kill these teams. Like, yes, is it ugly basketball at the end of the year? 100%.
For sure.
And it's bad this year because there is so much talent that people are in on trying to get an NBA draft. But it's like, I don't know if finding the owners fixes it. I do think it would help because finding the players, finding the coaches, whereas if they're just taking orders from the owners, doesn't really do anything. If you hit the owners where their wallet hurts, then change will be made. But if you really start taking away draft picks, that's where it's going to really change.
Yeah, I do agree. You got to take away more than money. I feel like owners don't care sometimes. They have so much money, most of these owners, that a few bucks doesn't matter. But you do take away a draft pick and you actually, they're trying to, if they are taking to get a better draft pick and you're taking away draft picks, it's going to defeat what they're attempting to do by throwing these games. So I do agree. I don't think it's a money thing. I do think it's taking away draft picks, or not just one, maybe multiple draft picks, or causing some sort of reason for them to lose for years to come.
I mean, to your point, it's right. $50,000 to NBA owners is nothing. That's a dinner.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if it's the other odds are we get the first pick in the draft. It's like, I'm willing to give up $50,000 to try and get that first pick.
Well, I'm going to make it all back in jersey sales and marketing.
Right.
I mean, it's
easy.
It's totally different. I do think if you included the play-in teams in the NBA draft lottery, so there's not just so much incentive to miss the playoffs entirely, it'll add something. But certainly a situation to watch in the NBA. All right, coming up next, Frankie hanging out with me for one more segment. Get into the Padres a little bit, and I'm going to see if Frankie's a big golf guy with the Masters ahead this weekend.
That might be a tough one for me to talk about.
All right, we'll figure it out. But coming up next on Going Long, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. The Padres beat the Pirates today 8-2 in Pittsburgh, took 2 out of 3 in the series, and they also took 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox. They went 4-2 on their first road trip of the year. Michael King picked up the first victory of the year. The team comes home tomorrow to start a 4-game series against the Rockies. In other baseball news, Angels DH Jorge Soler and Braves pitcher Ronaldo Lopez each got 7-game suspensions today for Major League Baseball for their participation in last night's big brawl. Choosing the right home service company isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about trusting who's in your home. That's why homeowners count on Anderson for friendly professional service that keeps everything running right. Visit AndersonPHA.com.
Good song choice. DJ Sperry over there. Cutting it up a little bit. All right, so welcome back to Going Long, San Diego Sports 760, live every day, 2 to 3. I really appreciate everybody for hanging out the second week of the show. Schaefer and Sliwa will be coming up next. They should be jumping on here in about 20 minutes. Now, Frankie, you are Mr. Pop Culture. I mean, you're more in touch with pop culture than anyone in this cluster right here. So you got to teach Brett and I some things that maybe we can lead the show with tomorrow, because the hottest sports gossip, I would say, is the Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel storyline.
That was actually pop culture for us this morning on Channel 933. I mean, it was so funny when it comes to that story. Gina was like, I don't really know Mike Vrabel is, and Angie on her show, I don't really know either. I said, all right, here's a head football coach that's married, and here's a sports reporter that's married, and they were seen arm in arm and in hot tubs at a couples retreat getaway. And they said, whoa.
Is that what they were at?
Yeah, it was a couples retreat place. They said number one place for, I think, engagements to happen. Like people get engaged there. So the second I say this to Gina and Angie, they're like, who cares who they are? Tell me more about this story. So that story has become pop culture beyond just who they are as sports people. So that was actually a big topic of discussion this morning on our show.
Where did everyone fall on it?
It's tough because, I said that girl, the sports reporter girl, it's the second time she did this. One time was with the Washington Football's GM. I think she hooked up with him.
That's right.
So my angle was, once a homewrecker, always a homewrecker. Gina took the side of like, there's guys involved too. So turning this, battle of that. But they were just all kind of just baffled as to why celebrities that are known entities with known faces decide to be stupid and go to a couples retreat. Like, we're not talking about going to a Hotel 6 and hiding inside the bedroom. They were at the hot tub at a couples retreat. Of course you're going to be seen and noticed that this is happening.
I mean, that is a great point. Like, did Mike Vrabel, like Diana Rossini is famous. I mean, sports fans would know she is recognized her. But especially Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel, like, someone has got to be a Patriot fan at that resort.
And if you're a football fan, he just won Coach of the Year. Like, he has been all over the media because of what he did to the Patriots and turned them around. And he's also a pretty big dude. Like, he doesn't look like you or I. Like, you're like, whoa, who is that guy? Somebody's going to look at his face and say, let me Google this. Oh, there's Mike Vrabel. Oh, wow, he's got kids and a wife. This is amazing. He's got a woman in a hot tub with her arms around him.
Did you see, there's a clip from years ago. It's like 2021 that Diana Rossini, I don't know if you saw this. She came out and they went back and found it.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, my husband's kind of average, kind of boring. If he was like handsome, I would be posting about him all the time. And now everyone's got that clip and just pushing it out all over social media. She
says something too, like, Mike Vrabel's kind of a fat guy, or say she made some comment, like kind of like joking about his figure. And it's like, there's obviously some type of like chemistry that has happened for her to be joking about what he looks like years back. Anyway, that talk about pop culture. We talked about that on Channel 933 down the hall.
All right. So what else have made the show today?
Big thing coming up this weekend to get you might know about it. It's a thing called Coachella.
Of course.
Coachella. So Justin Bieber is going to be headlining on Saturday, take stage at 11:25. Now, the big thing about this is there's rumors that there's going to be cameras all around because they're going to do a Netflix documentary based on his comeback to the Coachella stage. Also, and this is not confirmed, but people thought he was only going to do his new stuff off his 2 albums, Swag 1 and 2. But there are people that were somehow in the area of Coachella Valley able to hear his sound check yesterday, and he did a lot of his old songs, including some of the songs that he got famous for as a young kid, like Neo's So Sick and others on YouTube. So not confirmed, but there's rumors that he's going to be doing a full set from start to finish of all of his music.
I was just having an argument with someone about this the other day. Like, when you go see a band or an artist or rapper, whoever, it's great when they play the new stuff. And Bieber, obviously, every time he releases an album, it's a huge deal.
Yeah, right.
And he has hits for days. But it is crazy when you see like Coachella acts and they're not even going to play the stuff that got them there. I can't stand bands, rappers, artists, whatever.
Agreed.
Who like hate their old stuff, like don't want to play. It's like, I get you want to play the new stuff, but you're also not playing your top 3 biggest songs. Like then that better reflect in the ticket price.
Facts. And that's what got them there. So that was a big topic of conversation. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, Cardi B. You know what Cardi B is?
Of course.
No, Cardi B. Cardi B got her credit card got stolen. And she came out and said $60,000 worth of stuff was bought at Saks Fifth Avenue as well as at the Apple Store. And she went as far to say is, I will find you and I will put you in jail. She basically said, I don't care what the cops are doing. I'm going to put you in jail myself if I have to. And she kind of went off about that.
That's first off, if you steal someone's credit card and then you go spend $60,000 worth of stuff.
Quickly too, like she found out minutes later and shut that thing down. So like within the short amount of time that she got the alerts, they spent $60,000.
Wouldn't you think? I mean, maybe they're at Saks on Fifth Ave, they don't care, but that's a higher brand store.
Of course,
it's not just no shot to Walmart, but it's not just Walmart. You know, just walking around. Wouldn't you think if someone's buying $60,000 worth of stuff, they're gonna check like maybe they don't care. Maybe they're just like, hey, we're selling out our store. But that's kind of surprising.
Very surprising. And then $20,000 at an Apple store. I mean, I know that iPads aren't cheap, but if you're buying $20,000 in one stop at an Apple store, like you would think that Apple would be like, hey, real quick, are you Cardi B? Because that's what it says in the credit card. You don't look like her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like what? So what could you buy? I mean, just endless amount of phones. But a phone's $1,000, a new phone.
So you got 21 of those and you just walked out the door. So yeah, there should have been some red flags. Other conversation on the pop culture side, and this is tied to Cardi B, but Offset, her baby daddy, was shot.
Yep.
That was a big thing. Him and little TJ got into it in Florida at a casino, and that was the other topic of conversation. So that's what we do on 933 down the hall. We just talk about this stuff. You know, we don't talk
the most well-informed, radio show in the cluster. Come on now, you got to be.
And we talk about the Padres too. You know, it's kind of fun. We've been giving away Padres tickets over there, so I get to dial in on the fact that they had a winning streak going, and it's cool. They beat my Red Sox for the
I know
over the weekend, so I got to talk about that too.
The Red Sox did kind of get the Padres right a little bit over the last. It's hard to figure out this Padre team because like the first week they look lifeless, and I know you went to opening day. We were all down there in sidebar, but. And in the last 6 days, they look pretty good. I mean,
at the expense of the Boston Red Sox. The Boston Red Sox turned the Padres around for us early in the season.
We have Frankie and all of Boston, I think, for that one. But have you ever been to Coachella?
I have not. I have no desire. I do Coachella because you can watch it on YouTube, and their stream is so amazing because not only can you check out each stage because they have different stages, it's easy to navigate. This year, they're doing kind of like Red Zone for football. We can see a bunch of different games.
Really?
They're doing all 4 stages, so you can watch all the performances going on at once on your couch. And I'll tell you what, a drink out of my refrigerator, hell of a lot cheaper than the drink at Coachella. So I'm cool with it.
What's the best concert you've ever been to?
Best concert I've ever been to. That's a loaded question. Been to a lot of great ones. I will say Bruce Springsteen put on a great show years ago. Saw him. My favorite though performance was U2 at the Super Bowl many years ago. I got to go in New Orleans when the Patriots were in there. I actually won a trip there, which is crazy. I was working at a different station at the time, and I won this getaway. Anyways, it was cool to see a halftime show as U2 at the time. So those stand out. But I mean, I've been to so many great shows. I've seen Lady Gaga perform amazing, Justin Bieber perform amazing. Usher. I mean, I've seen them all, but I would say those 2 stand out in my mind.
So we were debating the other day on air because we were bored and didn't have anything to talk about.
Yeah.
We were like, the favorites for next year's Super Bowl halftime show is Miley Cyrus.
Yep.
Now, there's no shot at Miley Cyrus because Miley Cyrus is very talented.
Yeah, right.
But I was kind of surprised. You're more tapped in. Are you? Is that surprising that she's the favorite? And does Frankie V have a pick for who Super Bowl's halftime show will be next year and who it should be?
So Miley is definitely deserving. I mean, she's been around. She just did 20 years of Hannah Montana. So she seems like she's just like a young kid still. But she's been around 20 years. The reunion of that has been huge. Her fan base, the nostalgia fan base is there. So she could definitely handle that. I would think that if she did, she would bring some other people out maybe from 20 years. You kind of build a story. I think she could do it. But my favorite one that I saw, and it's more because of Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys, I think was starting this rumor. But he said, you know what? The Backstreet Boys are ready to do the Super Bowl halftime show. And then they spun it into, but what if we brought out some of NSYNC and brought out some of 90
Did a whole 90s boy band.
Yes, 90 boys band, like reunion, and then say maybe we can even get some of the other pop female stars to join us. That one in my mind would be epic for so many different reasons because what's old is new and so many people now love the boy bands of the past, even kids like Bye 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 had its moment.
Oh yeah,
because it was the movie.
Oh yeah, what was that movie they just did?
Yeah, Deadpool Wolverine. Yeah, exactly. So I think there's moments. So if I had a choice, I would go with the 90s, early 2000s boy band reunion tour for the halftime show.
I like that. I think that could do well because it's going to be in LA.
Yeah.
You had Dre and Snoop and Eminem and Kendrick. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
And 50 came out. So you can't really do the whole 90s rap thing again. As a massive rock fan, some of our favorite rock stars a little aged out of it.
Yeah, you could maybe Metallica, Guns N' Roses. Oh, great, but
the problem is that's for dudes.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't want dudes already watching.
You want to get a female audience that may not be watching it, or a pop culture moment where you get guys that don't care about football watching. And I do think you need to get a moment like that, like an oh wow moment. And you're not going to get that from most artists. But I'm telling you, if you did a 90s, early 2000s reunion with all these boy bands and whatnot, that's an oh wow moment that people are going to be intrigued to watch.
That's fantastic. We got to get all of our listeners. We got to get a little bet in on that. Some future bets on the on all that. Frankie, you're the best, hardest working man in the business. Dude's on 6 to 10. Got a show in Boston. You all know him with Gina and Angie there in the morning, 6 to 10. Dude, you're the best, man. Thank you so much for stopping in.
Thank you, Leona. Congrats on this hour, man. It's like, I feel like I've known Sammy since you've been a little boy. Your dad's a good guy, and I watched you grow up with him and all that. So it's cool to see you getting this chance to shine. So congrats.
Oh, thank you so much, man. Frankie's always been the best. First time I got in here, always showing so much love. All right.
Appreciate you.
Frankie V, you all know him, 6 to 10. Go tune in on channel 93.3 Monday through Friday. Coming up next, Schaefer and Sliwa. We've officially named it the crossover until our salespeople sell it and then change the name. So the crossover will be coming up next with Schaefer and Sliwa on San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Welcome back to Going Long, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. We have half of the crossover today. John Schaefer right now. Alan is undisclosed location.
Yeah, Alan like kind of works on his own schedule.
Yeah.
I've learned this. I mean, he's been here for a week, so he's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it this way. I'll come in when I want. It's fine. I kind of like it.
I'm gonna yell at Sliwa when he gets in here for disrespecting the crossover. The crossover. Again,
I have a buddy in LA.
Yeah.
That reminds me just like I haven't even told this to Alan. He's just like Alan. Like he kind of moves at his own pace. It's just like, I don't know. They're very similar.
Sliwa is a good friend of yours in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I need to tell Alan. I was going to tell him maybe off air, but I'll tell him on air now.
We're going to tell him on air. It's more fun on air.
I was saying, I have a really close friend of mine that I grew up with, that I went to high school with. I just, from like kindergarten on, I've known. And he lives in LA. He is identical. There's something very similar about him to you. And what I mean by that is, like, you kind of just like, like you're like, I'll use the restroom before the crossover, whatever. I'll make my way in. It's all good. And which I really respect. I love that. Like,
I don't respect it at all. I'm very frustrated with Alan Sliwa right now.
I kind of like it because it's like, it moves it like your pace.
Well, here's what it is. Okay. There's a lot that goes into it. Number one, we were prepping like maniacs,
crazy.
Like animals, right?
Yeah.
We got a show from 3 to 6, Sammy. I don't know if you know that or if you've promoted it at all.
Some people have been talking about it.
If you've promoted it at all. So we're doing our thing in that in the prep room. And then it comes that it's time to come. And so I just figured John's going to come in, do his thing, a little bit of hello with you. I can go run and use the restroom. Also see this food and wine spread that I think is going to be spread out here in the next hour or so. I thought maybe I do a little Pinot Noir before I get in. That's kind of my thought.
Show.
My thought, a little Pinot Noir, and then I was going to work my way in. Don't take it personal.
There has
I like that.
There has been
Take that personal.
There's been a lot of movement out here. I was Frankie V from Channel 93.3 was hanging with me for the last hour. A lot of movement out here with all the salespeople.
Okay.
The hardest working people in the building.
And there's going to be, you were saying, there's going to be like food.
I think there's going to be a whole layout out there. And I thought, well, because initially you said, yeah, that sounds good. I'd love a glass of wine right now.
I would, actually.
And I think, if I'm correct, I think it is all for us. I think
this is
I haven't confirmed that.
Schaefer and Sliwa event. Yeah. That Schaefer and Sliwa will be on air for.
Can you imagine, like, if that was like your role? Like I feel like if you're Ryan Seacrest,
you could be drinking.
No, but I feel like they'll bring in, like, for Ryan, they got the meal for the staff and the show. Can we get that?
We need 6 months. I think we got to put in some work. We got to roll up our sleeves.
Our friends in Sombreros sometimes
shout out to Sombreros.
Yeah. Maybe show a little ratings and revenue, and then they'll roll out the red carpet.
Forget about that.
Ryan, so we're going to be hosting New Year's Rockin' Eve here soon.
New Year's Rockin' Eve in 9 months.
In 9 months. By the way, I mean, Big Rich and Fletch, all they did was drink on air on Fridays. So I think your point about the Pinot Noir, what are they going to say? You have a little glass of wine by you, talking a little Padres?
I think it's cool.
Coming off a W, maybe we do it just with wins.
Just with wins, like
drink every single time they win. I kind of like that.
A shot every time they do a win.
No, let's do a home run for every.
A shot
for every home run, because that's probably averaging, honestly, at this pace.
Not
a lot of shots.
There's a lot of
we could definitely pace ourselves.
There's a lot of drinking that could have been involved positively for the Padres. Sadly for the Los Angeles Lakers, that game was
don't even watch it.
They were right in it. They were right in it. Alan was saying at 42 all.
Tied at 42.
Like there for the taking.
Yeah. Do you know what? So I was watching the game. And I was very hesitant. I'm always going to watch the game, but I was watching it and I was like, you know what? They're just going to let me down. And I said, I'm not going to get mad.
But you can't get let down if you've already set that expectation. Right. You got to set that expectation.
But you kind of can, though.
It's a young gun.
That's
like saying, like, if the Padres are 2-5 and you're saying, I'm not going to get let down. If they lose, you're going to get let down.
But this is the point. The point is let's say, I mean, I don't even know if I have an example for this.
Yeah.
The Lakers were missing 4 starters going up against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Right. That's a pretty easy one to say.
This might be tough.
Yeah, don't get yourself upset.
This might be a tough one.
I'm on the mound for the Padres. I would tell everybody here, guys,
it might not go perfectly.
Might not go well.
Tonight, but first of all, Kevin Acey is going to join us at 3:05.
Okay.
From Pittsburgh in about 10 minutes. Secondly, my wife and son are on their way
Best
now
story.
for the Intuit
Best
Dome
story.
for, of course, the game of the century, Clippers Thunder tonight.
Okay.
So she's this massive NBA fan, and he's
I love
become
that.
like a little like Clippers fan. I'm like, are you sure that's kind of a life of?
Yeah, we should.
Do you really want to do that?
We need to change that. He needs to be
I know.
adopted into Lakerland.
His teams are like he's into the Clippers, he's into the Padres. Their combined titles, like I do it on one hand.
I respect
it's not
it.
Great.
I respect
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
By the way, he should just honestly at this point he should just jump in with your wife and say I'm a Thunder fan.
Yeah, why not? Why not join the
My
family?
wife's a big Thunder fan, so she was gonna wear. He told her he didn't want her wearing a Shea jersey.
That is fantastic.
Because he's wearing a Derek Jones Jr. because his name is Jones.
That is
so he's
fantastic.
got the one Derek Jones Jr. jersey.
Okay.
And Kristen is wearing the Kawhi San Diego State jersey, which
it's very nice of her.
actually at VA House Arena.
That's very
but
nice
she
of her.
brought Shea's jersey, and even that has made my 7-year-old a little uncomfortable.
Shout
You
out
can't
to
bring
Jones.
Both teams.
That is
Isn't that
fantastic.
interesting?
What made him Clipper fan? Little Kawhi connection.
Well, I
San Diego State?
When they drafted Olawokandi.
Yeah, it was that- it was- it was
it
that
was that
City.
draft. It was that
2013.
draft. No, it was way before. I think it was 2000 and I think it was Danny Manning.
No, he loved that Bill Walton team here. He was,
oh, he loved it.
He was a season ticket holder here at Sports Arena. No, I don't know. They went to a meet and greet, actually.
Really?
Because of her work, and they got to meet like Derek Jones Jr., and they was like, I like the Clippers.
Well, the Clippers got a little bit of a bright future with Darius Garland, Benedict Mathurin now, getting rid of old bones Harden. I mean, fantastic.
That's start a Clippers channel.
I forgot Harden left the Clippers.
Yeah, he was telling me earlier. I'm like, who's playing?
We're
tonight?
checking the injury report.
He's like, hey, everyone for the Thunder's playing.
Yep.
But Darius Garland's out. He's like, Harden's in. I'm like, I don't think Harden plays for
Yeah.
them.
By the way, forgot they traded for each other.
By the way,
that's right.
Speaking on that game, I got a little money on the Clippers plus 7.5 tonight.
You like the Clippers
the
plus
spread.
7.
We were looking
You know
for
what?
it. I wanted to guess that.
Here's the thing, though. I don't know if I love that. Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
The Thunder with a win clinched the Western Conference. Shea was drafted by the Clippers. I don't think this is the game they take their foot off the pedal.
Brother, they have everyone playing too.
Everyone's playing.
There's no one
one's
not
sitting.
playing. Jalen Williams
he's
didn't play
playing.
yesterday to
I
play
know
for
that.
today.
I threw this in long shots earlier. Here's why I picked the Clippers. All right, plus 7.5, not money line, plus 7.5. They are trying to stay in the 8th spot.
Yes.
So they're staying because Trailblazers are right on their heel. They're playing the Spurs. Or I believe they're playing the Spurs tonight or someone tonight.
Did you not hear what we said about who's playing?
Garland's out.
Did you not hear?
And Jalen Williams is in.
What are you trying to justify right now?
Okay, when I do my betting segment, we don't get the full injury report. Okay, if I did a betting segment at 4:45 every day,
because
you know how money I would be.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, then you might want to come back. You might not want to do the betting
New
segment
feature.
at that time. You know,
Sammy's joke. I'm inviting myself on the show.
Wherever you're playing, you might be the only bet coming in that early.
You know what they say?
It's like he doesn't have all the
Always fade
information.
public.
that's exactly right.
Always fade the public.
How about yesterday when it was tied at 42 and it's an 18-point spread? I'm like, oh,
They're gonna do it.
they're gonna cover. Yeah, they didn't cover.
No.
Oh,
They didn't cover.
the Lakers. Unbelievable. All right, Schaefer, Sliwa, you guys are all keep listening. I'll be back tomorrow with Fletch at 12 o'clock. Brent, you're the man. Thank you
Have
very
a nice
much.
glass of wine there.
I know, but I'm off work now. So I just got to edit a podcast. It doesn't have to be perfect editing. I can just get a little wine. All right, boys, have a great show.
Bye, Sammy.
We'll
Kevin
see
AC
everybody
coming
tomorrow.
up next.
Kevin AC coming up next. Listen,